It's a new day, but the game never changes. We've saved the world, but can we graduate from Duel High School? Join us as ShibuyaZane. Very happy to start the final episode of the podcast for the first time. I swear to God, it's the first time. I promise you, nobody else's bit matters. They're lying to you. They're lying. Shorah.
Wasser. That's it. That's all you get this time. Fuck you.
This time.
Sorry! Calamity Carl.
Clear Cube!
That's it?
Yeah.
Bio Roxas.
Despite my best efforts, we made to the end.
Casey
I knew he was trying
Excellent.
to sabotage.
Welcome to another episode of Program Advance.
And special guest star LittleKuriboh.
Kuriboh gotta Oja.
Let's go! Use the power of the
Hell
Millennium
yeah.
microphone to duel their way to the top of Generation Next. Ah, fantastic.
Where did
I'm
Cell come
excited.
from?
Well, Cell's been here.
Who? When the fuck did that happen?
He's
If
just vibing.
you look at the layout, you'll notice there's a little dancing green man.
This happens every episode. You will call out something early on, and I was like, I ain't paying attention to shit.
I was
What are you
just
doing?
kidding.
Wasn't Carl
I
the one who
saw it.
asked?
No. It's fine. You can blame me.
Okay.
Someday we should just send out like an invite, see if Takahata wants to show up on here, and just be like, just sneak the cell in for no reason.
God.
Taka would be great because even if he hadn't seen the show you were watching, he would probably manage to ad-lib his way around this and be the one talking about it the most.
I bet he's just a delight.
Very fair. And honestly, I would be curious to see how that would function for an episode. I'll have
Some people
to...
are really good at bullshit. You pull up that wiki.
Just full
You
of
pick,
it.
you pick up on the last thing this person said. Like, oh, I also really vibe with what you were just saying there. Yeah, it's
I
really
thought you were
good.
saying that people are so good at bullshit. Pull up that wiki, it's full of bullshit.
I'm not wrong.
That's basically what I said in a way.
Some of them, yes.
That is basically how Bridget works in this server, though. Like, Bridget's watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX so many times, we can just bring her in at any time.
Yeah, she can just pop in and go, yeah, I'll recite half of the plays in this duel effortlessly. And I'm like, I can barely remember what I did this morning. How do you, what?
No, I thought I was good at that sort of thing. I thought I had like a photographic memory of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I started talking about a certain duel, thinking that I knew every card that was played, and I said every single card wrong. And I found out later in the YouTube comments how wrong I was. I was like, oh my God, I forgot everything.
I'm so...
You think you know something, and then you make a video about it, and then everyone in the comments is like, you don't actually know anything about this series. So it's like, okay.
The absolute worst case, I do have the wiki pulled up, so when I inevitably get shit wrong, I can just go through and I can be like, no, it's this guy. Okay, whatever. That way I don't
I
need
love having
comments.
the wiki up for stuff like that, only for the wiki to lie to me and be like, this is Bastion's last appearance. No, this is Bastion's last appearance.
I do like...
Hey, you know who didn't show up here? Bastion.
Yeah. Very big fan.
I said it before. Bastion is the potential man of this series.
No, he was never the potential man.
He had some potential in season
He was
one.
never
Come
the
on,
guy.
don't shaft him that
He was
hard.
never ever the guy.
Yeah, this is
trying
Shibuya's
so-
instituting revisionist history on season 1.
Yeah, if the guy strips naked and is still a potential man, he's not a potential man.
All right, hold
He had
on.
his shot.
Because this is going to be the episode where I just bring up a bunch of old edits. Because this one week,
Oh boy.
I wonder why.
Shibuya,
'cause of
you
his
know
lumpy
which one you
ass.
gotta bring up.
Well, I was discussing before the episode started some of our highlights. We've got some classics. I might as well just drop a few in here and ignore the Discord conversation that happened before we started on the screen right now. For the video viewers, if you're not watching the video, please go to the video version and look at the shit that was said in this Discord less than 24 hours before recording.
Can't believe it.
Going through and looking back at some of our best. Personally,
Shibuya,
very
don't look at
partial
the other
to this.
Bastion.
Oh, that should have been one of
partial to
our
that one.
We should have had like our best ofs. Oh wait, no, you did that, didn't you? Didn't you put out a tweet?
Our best ofs are, well, I put out the tweet asking people for like their favorite moments of the podcast or of GX as a whole, and I can bring those up at the end, but like as far as our best edits, you know, that's going to be a little bit trickier. So, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. What?
Just doing that very quickly. Sorry, don't worry about it. We have a friend who needs to get flashbanged.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh my God.
Well, you see, it's a clever reference because Chaz calls himself Manjome Thunder in the Japanese, and that was edited on Thunder Cross Split Attack from JoJo Part 1.
Yeah. that was a bit going around in our friend group, so we decided to just flashbang a friend who watches regularly. Eventually, he became immune, so we had to stop, but for the final one, I gotta.
Good friend EXE, who helps me host the Program Advanced podcast and not BioRoxas. He's never been on that podcast ever.
What show is it called?
I'm not dignified.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just throwing that up here. No reason. But yeah, this is just a reminder that this is Bastion throughout the entirety of GX.
We're so back.
I think if you're so over more than twice, you are not the potential man. I think legally, you can't call him potential man if he's been over twice.
Yeah, no. He was the first casualty in the Yuki Judai show.
Alright, so, how we doing, gang?
Honestly,
it's only half an hour after we started.
Oh my God.
I'm very excited to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and to say goodbye to these characters, but also I'm also excited for any Kamen Rider tangents that we go on.
Oh, don't you worry.
Already sowing the seeds.
Now, this is over 50% of the call who is into Kamen Rider. This is how we win.
This is how we get it started. Welcome to our Tokusatsu podcast.
Listen.
I watched one of them. That was it.
Okay, cool. I was like, am I the only one? Am I the only one that hasn't seen it?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say I saw all of O's a couple of times.
You liked O's, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get you.
I watched a few episodes of Drive and then I fell out. And that's when it was first airing, though.
Should have been wearing a seatbelt.
That's unfortunate because Drive.
Yeah.
Drive
Fell out of the car.
Very
I like
good.
living free, okay?
I watched Power Rangers once at my neighbor's house, and my mom was trying to knock down the door to take me back because it was a demonic show.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, she's not wrong.
You
You got
keep-
Lord Zed. You seen him?
Goldar, that does make sense.
Your mother looked at Raider Repulsa and went, "Yes, I'm repulsed. Get him out of here."
Anything with Goldar in it is unholy.
I mean, that type of parent stuff with Power Rangers makes sense. The Lord Zed was so scary to parents that they had him like censored a little bit and then paired him up with Rita later on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yu-Gi-Oh, huh?
Yeah, hey, look, I just got a whole bunch of fucking cards coming in, so Yu-Gi-Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Your debt grows.
Do you play them? Like, do you actually play the game in real life though?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's trying to
do
build
you?
decks.
Oh, okay.
Bio?
You see,
I
you
didn't
find
know.
someone else, and then you get to a table. You put down those cool mats.
Yeah. You do that?
No, I don't do that.
Carl
No,
does
that's
that.
from Carl.
What's up?
Do you,
Okay.
do you play in real
No,
life?
no,
Do you do
let's
that?
just move on. Let's move on.
No,
I
I
don't care.
actually missed what you said. I'm
I
sorry.
don't care anymore.
Oh, okay.
He was asking if you like played in real life with the deck mats and everything, but like
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I did that at MagFest.
Yeah.
Nice, cool.
It,
Okay.
it was so funny because I just heard the story about how you went up to the board game room at MagFest, played against the guy who was running meta, got your ass handed to you, and then he helps you find your locals.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's very nice.
experience.
I was just like, oh, I pulled 2 cards that are useless to me, 2 that have the potential to be useless to me, and then a monster that's gonna get negated. This is awesome, dude.
You got the villain of the week experience from a
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh show point of view.
Yeah.
The protagonist helped you after defeating you thoroughly.
I did what Show and Chaz did in this whole session, which is just lose their ass. This is really hard.
I'm just glad you didn't do what Bastion did and strip naked and run out of the room.
You're right.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't
irrelevant
put
for
that
an
past
entire
Carl.
Especially not in the middle of a convention center.
Oh God,
I've
yeah.
seen
When you
some
said you're going to be
conventions.
like, show, I was really afraid you were going to follow this dude at MagFest around the entire rest of the
No.
event.
If you
calling him
started calling
Aniki
him
the
Aniki,
entire
it'd be
time.
over.
Watching him from a distance.
Which
Yeah,
works
I
for
will-
show as a 4'8" guy, not as a 6'2"
I will
bull
document
like you.
this duel for the rest of eternity. Get away from me, you freak. Oh
So
man.
this is the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and it's 180 episodes, right?
180
Yeah.
episodes total.
Yep.
My best
So
favorite OP only plays for like 40 of them. It's so tragic.
so compared to other Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, how long is it? Like, and obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters is 220 something.
Yeah, Duel
but
Monsters I think
is it-
was like 224-ish.
Is
I
it
think
comparable
5Ds is
to
around
the?
the same.
Yeah. Did they start sort of
next-
leveling out and doing sort of this
Yeah,
many?
it kind of ranges because like 5Ds is about 154, and I know the most recent one that isn't the Rush Duel stuff when they soft rebooted was probably the shortest series because it ended up getting cut early.
I'm looking through the series list on Crunchyroll. So if we're going basically strictly by sub on this, 5Ds 154, Zexal seems to be 146. Vrains is only 120.
Okay.
Arc 5 about 148. And then Crunchyroll does not have sevens and does not have Go Rush, so I would have to double check those. But
I'm looking at the wiki pages for those. There
Okay.
are for sevens. It seems that there's only 3 episodes or like 19. It's debatable here because it's
no, sevens
listed weird.
had
here.
like a whole season.
Oh no, that's the manga. Oh, here we go. List of sevens episodes.
Seven's
2
already ran, and they're
seasons,
like on a new
Yeah.
one now.
92
They're on, like,
episodes.
Wow.
Yeah. They're on a sequel show. Do you guys know the premise of the sequel show to Sevens?
All I
I
know
do
is that the
not,
right?
protagonist is an alien who plays card games.
What?
Go Rush,
What?
the protagonist is an alien, yes.
But
Yeah,
was this
Go
the thing
Rush
that
is
you
95
wait?
episodes.
I distinctly remember like Shore or Carl saying something about a card gets sent out to space and comes back with boobs.
Oh, that's
Excuse me?
2 seasons ago of Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's
GX.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX,
Is that
the
you,
show
Belle?
we're in now.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a panic attack.
That makes sense. As I was saying that, actually, I was like, I wonder if that's real.
But do you know that like the premise of Go Rush is that the protagonist from Sevens went back in time and invented the game that he was playing?
I'm reading this
God.
on the wiki and I'm going insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bridget,
Oh, well, okay.
Bridget, you don't need my permission. Godspeed.
Yeah, if you'd like to cut in here at any point to
I'm moving.
litigate what
You are
Maya
not
just brought
moving.
up.
I'm moving.
Hi, Bridget.
Fucking villain of season 3. You spent 50 episodes on that bitch, really?
We never mentioned it again after
Really?
Duel Masters.
Okay, whatever, Drew. Whatever.
I just remembered it. I just remembered that was a conversation we had back in the old days.
You're like, there's some Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that included.
Oh my god. Now, to be fair,
We're still trying to find out what series did this.
to be fair, if I go back and if I look at like around where season 2 ends, I feel like that'll be like episode like 112-ish, and that would have been, let's check the scheduling channel very quick. Episode 112 would have been about 7 months ago. So
Yeah, but I tend, when I watch a long going thing, I try to keep in my mind the details of main characters.
No. It was like something during like Duel Monsters where you guys were like, you think this is crazy. Wait until you
Oh,
see
if it's
this.
that, then okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it wasn't like, oh, no. It was like a long time ago.
Apparently, this was
yeah. Nice
episode
cover.
1 of Millennium, Mike?
Wait,
What do you
really?
mean this was episode 1 of Millennium, Mike? Oh god, that was
That's
literally
crazy.
2020.
I did a good job on that one.
Yeah, you did. It
That's
was
true, you
great.
did.
You did great on that one, man.
Yep.
Alright, we probably should get to talking about the actual contents of the show
20 minutes into
at
the
some
episode, yeah.
point.
True, we have 6 of them to go through.
Yeah, 15 minutes into recording. Granted, we have 6 episodes, but only 3 duels. So,
But
should
only
be
2
relatively
episodes matter.
easy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we should be quick for us to get through this. All right, so Kamen Rider Gotchard episode 15.
Yes.
Peak. Anyway.
Yeah, Renge is the best.
God, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy's really cool.
Renge is not.
Hey, Bio.
Yeah,
I've got an important question for you.
I know.
Oh boy.
I did not misgender on purpose. If
Jude Speller in the chat says Valver still a loser, presumably referring to
Valverad. Yes.
Kuragane Spanna.
We call him Valva Washed in our Discord watch-alongs that we do every week. Because
Well, he's about to get washed in the next one, it looks
oh,
like.
it's gonna be so funny, yeah. Oh, very, very excited for him to chaz it up in Gotchard once more.
yeah.
So, episode 175 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So,
175.
for some reason,
Oh my god.
I thought much earlier on that Honest, like in the duel where he fuses with Neos, had eventually just like left Judai's deck and like gone off to do his own thing. He's been here the whole time, seemingly.
He's just being honest.
Just been chilling. Listen, Jaden.
He's being honest.
Jaden saw a meta-relevant card with a really good effect and was like, "Oh no, you're staying with me."
Now,
But man, what a downer, right?
yeah. He's
He's
kind
just
of
like,
bringing down the vibes, but like, you know, he hasn't really mentioned it in a while, so we give him a pass on that. But I'm just gonna say this now because there's not really gonna be a better point to bring it up than the episodes where he's prominent. What do you mean Honest Neos is in the OP of the final season, and Honest Neos shows up in one duel?
Yeah.
Less than 10 episodes in!
That's why I laughed when you were talking about Honest Neos in the earlier parts of the season. I'm like, yeah, he's here for about 2 minutes.
During this duel with Fujiwara, I was like, he's in the OP, he brings in the logo, he's gotta be here, he's gotta rock it. And then I see the Duel of Darkness and I'm like, he's gotta be here, please. and then he's not, and I'm like,
They just made the intro first, and they were like, "Oh shit, we never made this character. Let's just throw him somewhere."
The imagery of Honest Neos flying up and letting the logo of the show rise with him is cool as hell. But then just do Define Neos if you're gonna do that. I just...
Ooh, I didn't like
you see
Define
more of
Neos.
Godzilla in that like Bryan Cranston Godzilla film than you see
Yeah,
Honest
actually,
Neos in this.
genuinely, yes.
The film you're looking for is Godzilla.
I forgot what year it came out, so I didn't want to
2014,
just say
I believe.
Godzilla.
I'm pretty
there
sure
we
it's
go.
2014. I saw that in theaters. Godzilla
10 years ago?
2014. Yep, 10 years ago.
Isn't that crazy? And yet here we are, and the MonsterVerse is going strong, and we're saying goodbye to the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dark Universe. You could have been so funny.
I mean, it was funny. It just wasn't.
The All Rise.
All rise for the beginnings of a new Dark Universe.
It's appropriate for these episodes.
Yes, actually. Oh no. Hey. You remember how I said
what
that
if Judai had to duel?
I mean, I
Russell
completely
Crowe, Johnny Depp, whoever else
if
was going to
Judai
be in
had
it.
to duel Tom Cruise, that would have ruled.
Would have been incredible.
All right, now I'm gonna have to cook and edit for a couple minutes. So I need you guys to do the impossible and talk about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, well, I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm a very big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh as a concept, and I feel like I, as an individual, have done a great deal of damage to the reputation of Yu-Gi-Oh.
You know, I was gonna mention it, but I recall a time I was maybe 14 years old.
Yes.
And then I was on a Yu-Gi-Oh forum. They're like, you gotta see this shit. Some dude is dubbing over the Yu-Gi-Oh show with jokes, and it's great. There were 3 of these episodes out at the time.
Oh my
I've known
god!
of you for more than half my life, as I am now 31 years old.
I don't think I had insulted GX yet at that point.
You had not. I do
I'm
not
gonna
think
lie,
so, no.
Some of my favorite memories involve Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and just watching it with friends and stuff.
That's important. That's kind of what's important about these episodes we're talking about. And I did want to make a point and say that I never realized the negative impact that the jokes that I told about Yu-Gi-Oh and Yu-Gi-Oh GX would bring about. I never really thought about my place as a fan. In my head, I was like, I'm just a guy making jokes. But in reality, I was also a fan influencing other fans to think a certain way. And anytime I would use my platform to denigrate Yu-Gi-Oh GX or insult Jaden or Judai, I think I was doing a real disservice to people because it meant, and you know, it's easy to say, well, they're fictional characters, but at the same time, there's real people who look up to these characters. And I think anytime I did that, it made people feel like they couldn't express their love for this. And I feel genuinely awful about that. And at the same time, I do hope that, you know, there are people out there who understand that despite the jokes that I've told, I don't really think any Yu-Gi-Oh is bad. I think all Yu-Gi-Oh is great. And I've actually come to realize recently that I think Jaden Judai is the superior protagonist. I think that his deck is just fucking cool. And,
Yeah.
There is.
and also he goes through some shit. Like, yeah, Yami and Yugi go through some stuff, but it feels way more forced compared to what Judai goes through. And watching these episodes specifically made me realize that they were telling a story with this guy. They didn't just sort of blindly go through this. There's themes here that are at work, and they're being woven into not just the narrative, but into the individual duels and experiences that he's going through. And I think they did a bloody good job. And I want to say, before we go into talking about the episodes themselves, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And I love Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and I love Yuki Judai.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really nice to, like, you know, be transparent about. I feel like this happens a lot more online in general, where, you know, you don't expect to become, like, a more well-regarded person in a certain niche in terms of content. And then sometimes that influence can sometimes lead to certain things. But I've never really considered too much of your GX stuff really that negative. However, I would say,
witness the beginning
I think the things you've done that have happened to Jack Atlas of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, the aftershocks still live to this day.
I could try to do the voice, but I'm gonna blow my voice out for the rest of the recording.
I will say, like, fucking GX has always been one of my favorite of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes, because I love the elemental heroes as an archetype. I love how this season, like, this series gets interesting with some of the later plot points. Like, having an entire season dedicated to, like, we're gonna fucking kill off some characters for the majority of the season is wild to me. And GX really, like, it was one of my favorites as a kid. So going into like what you said about how you feel like you've probably brought some negativity to Yu-Gi-Oh! And everything, I've always just viewed it as jokes. It's like, people are going to have their own opinions and want to make their own content on, like, everything when it comes to it. I'm pretty sure I've used this podcast as a platform to shit talk certain things in the past. I will consistently shit talk that I think Zexal is garbage. No, not
Is that the one with the
Zexal.
bikes? Wait, is that the one with the bikes?
No,
No,
5Ds
Zexal's
is the
after
one
the
with the
bikes.
bikes.
The dub
Okay,
of Zexal's garbage. Arc V is actually trash, though. But yeah, I don't really think you've brought that much vitriol into the world when it comes to your thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I'd say maybe a little different for Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
That's really interesting. I really don't know enough about Dragon Ball to know the state of the perception of it, or how it's influenced the way it's perceived. But as somebody who's never watched any Dragon Ball, I only know it the way Team 4-Star told it. So it's a weird place.
You certainly nailed your role very well.
That's awesome.
Throughout that.
But let's not make this the LittleKuriboh podcast. We want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Yeah. I'm also mostly joking on that.
I get you.
But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX episode 175, the three-way battle royale duel.
Yeah.
Love that concept. I wish they'd do stuff like that more often.
I have to question it being called a battle royale because if you set up a wrestling ring and put 3 guys in there and said, "Here's a battle royale," I would walk out and be like, "I'm getting it."
So here's the real question on everyone's minds. We've gotten Cell, we've gotten Frieza in Fortnite. When are we going to get Yuki Chudai in Fortnite? That way we can have a real battle royale.
Winged Kuriboh
need
back
him.
bling.
Who needs you, Bell, when you have an AK-47, really?
No, Yubel would be part of the pack. Yubel could also have a gun.
Oh, okay, we're good
I'm
then.
picturing it all in my head, and it rules. Just the visuals in my mind. I'm rotating them around 360 degrees, and it's sick.
I'm sorry. We're forgetting the best idea for a Fortnite character from GX. It's Axel Brody with his dual disc gun.
Oh, you're so right.
Oh, yeah, that would be so good.
You know,
He already has a backpack. Yes.
How did I not consider the guy that uses a gun?
I don't know. It also took me a minute to remember this.
Don't say
Shibuya?
Ojama Yellow Black Bing. I'm gonna.
No,
shit
yes,
myself.
Ojama Yellow Back Bling, and he talks. Please, Sean Schemmel, reprise your role.
Whenever you get shot,
Shibuya,
he
we get
screams and
Cyrus.
shit.
We get Cyrus
Back Bling.
with a... No, we get Cyrus with helicopteroid glider.
That's very good. Judai would have Avion just carrying him down gently.
No, I think it would be Flame Wingman, honestly.
All I know
My
is
favorite
that
hero.
True.
the Fortnite characters all have great butts, so we need a Neos in Fortnite.
That's true.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
God, you're
very
right.
true.
Yeah.
I need Neos
Can we
doing the
get like
default dance.
Exodia in Fortnite? I want to see Exodia's ass in Fortnite.
Me too.
Exodia
actually.
getting obliterate the way Goku got the Kamehameha and you can actually kill
They
people with
make
it.
Exodia like the Thanos of a season.
Oh my god, yes! Exodia boss on the map where
great.
you have to get the 5 pieces and then the real Exodia shows up in the
Oh
middle.
my god.
Please. We'd love
So-
that.
Holy shit.
Given that this is like the first time I've been able to sit down and like properly watch a full sub season of Yu-Gi-Oh, I find it really interesting how the sub does take the time to explain certain card effects properly. Like, I guarantee you in the dub they would have been like, "This is a battle royale duel," and they'd make the smallest comment about like no one can attack on the first turn, but they'd probably gloss over it for a joke because that's what they do a lot in the dub for GX, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At
But
least
they'd
they
also
told me
come-
what Not Agreed does, though.
That's
They'd
true.
also come back from commercial break and reiterate the battle royale
Hey.
situation.
Yes!
Since we're back from commercials, I want to remind you that we're in a battle royale.
Because the rules of Battle Royale, I can't attack on my first turn.
Battle Royale? What's that? I'm gonna have to read up during the commercial break.
Any of the side characters watching.
I-
If you guys didn't hear him.
I think I remember them doing a very deliberate commercial break bit during, I think, the one-off duel with the guy who had the quiz deck. And
Yeah,
Jaden just
the
goes,
game show
man,
guy."
I could really use a cut to commercial right now, and then it fades to black for the commercial cut.
You can't not use that. You can't not write that if you have that situation.
Yeah, in that specific instance, I think it was peak. I think sometimes the dub actually does have good bits, and that is one of them.
It's gonna be so weird going into 5Ds from this because I'm pretty sure the dub for 5Ds actually tried to take it seriously most of the time. I know that they
And they
slipped in
got
some
really
jokes here
stressed
and there.
out about how rough the subject matter is for 4 kids, particularly.
Yeah.
An entire mini arc about people who died in like Russian roulette dueling. We can't
Yeah.
cover that.
And there's the tattoo thing that they put on Yusei when he goes to jail, and in the sub it's painful, but in the dub they're like it tickles you.
Yeah.
Not
They're like,
like-
this is a literal brand. He's like, oh, this is really nice.
Oh, what a lovely walk in the park.
It's gonna be fun
What?
when I get to watch dub and sub of 5Ds. And it's just dramatic crossroads, and it's like the dub version of content, the sub version of content.
5Ds with the literal, what a beautiful walk in the park. The park in question being
A graveyard?
mass grave.
Yes! I've seen that one. That one is insane to me. Like, I wonder what it must have been like working at 4Kids and being in charge of the team who's like, you have to redraw over an entire 5-minute sequence with Graves. You have to make that grass. We cannot be doing this on television.
Now, they are professionals. Shout out to the dude in the Pokemon anime that had to draw over a rolling giant rice ball to turn it into a submarine sandwich because we're in America.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So what are the rules of this battle royale?
Anybody can hit anybody, and let me check if there's any like actual specifics. No players can attack on the first turn. Everybody, other than that, anybody is fair game to attack. But clearly, Judai and Johan want to go after Fujiwara, and it's not like this will come back to bite anybody later with Fujiwara's mind manipulation.
No, not at all.
No, probably not.
Nope.
Definitely not earlier or later, rather, in this episode.
Absolutely not. What gives you that idea? Very big fan of us opening on unconventional monsters that we don't get to see a lot from these decks. Shoutouts to Emerald Turtle and Wild Man.
Oh yeah, we get to see Necroshade in this too, which
yeah, been a
love
while.
that. He's one of the actually good like early hero cards too.
Yeah, his
It's
effect
a surprise
is
Jaden doesn't use
fantastic.
him often.
So while they're dueling, they're surrounded by, and forgive me, it's been a while. What's his name? Mr. T?
Yes.
Yeah.
Truman.
Yeah. What a
I
perfect
love
name,
the
dude.
exasperation.
So,
So-
what's our final villain for most of the final season? Mr. T.
So this guy, I'm assuming, I don't know if it's been discussed on the podcast, but I'm assuming, given that this was happening in mid-2000s, that this was an Agent Smith reference.
That was
sort.
what
Yeah.
I got from it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why they couldn't dub season 4, because they couldn't get
Oh my god.
the Agent Smith was his name, bloody
yeah.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. To be fair,
Couldn't
though,
get
four Kids did a lot of, this actor's popular. Let's just get somebody to do a bad impression. Like,
I was about to say.
I don't know
yeah.
if you remember Don Zalug from earlier in
Oh
GX.
yes. Oh yeah.
The walk-in impression. You've got fucking
Every crystal beast.
every Crystal Beast, fucking Amber Mammoth specifically, where they just get Sean Shovel and they go, do the Arnold. Oh, what? Do the Arnold. And then he just has to do the fucking.
Why? He's big.
I wish that Emerald Turtle was like a Danny DeVito.
That would have been funny, but I think it's funnier that Emerald Turtle is very clearly just Wayne Grayson trying to
Yeah.
do like a scared older guy voice, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
Joey, you're not fooling anybody here.
He's doing like the Filbert from Rocko's Modern Life on him.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cobalt Eagle should have been Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh yes, he should have. Oh my god. And then oh god, what is her name? Panther, the
Amethyst Cat.
Amethyst Cat. Yes, that's just
Sexy
Veronica
cat.
Taylor. So I just keep hearing. I keep hearing Ash.
Sorry, I keep thinking of that Tom and Jerry meme. Sorry.
No, that's entirely fair. I also was just like, wait.
Crystal Beast, tenacious like Tom.
I thought you were gonna go into Tenacious D for no reason there. I'll be honest. I just hear Tenacious and I go, Jack Black? Insane to think about how the last time Judai and Johan dueled together was literally the Rainbow Dragon debut.
Yeah.
They brought that up and I was like, no, that can't wait. It was. Oh my god. Because the last time they dueled against each other, it was jealousy and mind control and a bunch of things that are a little bit fucked up.
Yeah, like a couple sets ago where he was being infected by a card that got slipped in or whatever.
Yeah.
Thought Johan was like Mr. T.
Mr. T's just like, bro, snap out of it. I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'm glad I
not
went back
that
He's
in
deep."
like,
the-
I'm not that tall, Judai.
I'm glad I went back and watched those episodes before going into these, because otherwise I would have been like actually really lost.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't believe they like blew up Mr. T with a fake car, even though Saya was working for him the whole time. It was like, well, that's the most extra. You didn't need to put all that effort in.
No, I think they did because it was cool as hell.
I guess.
I was telling people about the bit from last session where it's like, yeah, the entire top floor of the tower is rigged to blow if you don't duel me, and then he wins, but because his opponent disappears, the tower registers as only one person being there, so it blows up anyway. I love Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh rules.
Clear World. How do we feel about Clear World as a whole?
Stinky.
I like it because it forces you to think about attributes, a thing that never happens on this show ever.
That's fair. The closest
Where
we
it's
get
like,
is like
Clear World just screws over almost every single attribute in the game in different exciting ways.
new, fun, and unique methods of duel torture.
He's like, Fujiwara goes up to Johan and says, "Alright, you got Emerald Turtle out. That's water. You just have to discard a card at the end of your turn every time, so long as it's on here."
Which honestly is probably one of the least awful ones.
And my whole thing was just like, it's hysterical. Like, they build them up to seem like they're really busted and crazy, but in reality, they are dog shit. They're not good.
Yeah. That is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime special, unless they're just abjectly just cheating the whole way, like Siegfried's Castle of Strongberg.
Please don't remind me of the Golden Castle of Stromberg. I want to leave that
It's
bitch
awesome,
in the past
dude.
where he belongs.
I don't have an opinion on Clear World, but I was a fan of Cool World, the movie where Academy Award
Let's
nominee
go.
Gabriel Byrne has sex with a cartoon lady.
Huh?
That's how I'm trying to live.
Have you never seen this movie?
Oh, I'm seeing the post. Okay. I didn't know it by name. This is a lot to take in at first glance.
Gabriel Byrne plays a criminal comic book artist who is in jail and gets sucked into the cartoon world by the lady that he believes he's created, but it turns out he's just being influenced by the cartoon world to write about these characters. It never gets explained why. Anyway, she wants to have sex with him so she can become a human.
Outside of the having sex thing, this is a lot like Pegasus and the Duel Monsters. He did not create them. He was simply the conduit.
I would love a Yu-Gi-Oh! Cool World crossover.
Great.
Duel World. It's in the name. It's right there.
This man's journey.
What's
This man's journey is a lot like what I want to have. What about Alan Wake?
I said without the sex part, it sounds a lot like Alan Wake.
It's
You know what? That's also true.
Very, very similar.
We created a line from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX to Alan Wake, and I'm pretty proud of everybody putting in the work.
I mean, yeah, Herald of Darkness is right there, and if we just change that out to be Judai, and we have him do the dance, that could work. That could rule.
Perfect.
Oh, man. I want to get off topic, but then I remember that they play a card called Trap Strap, and I look at it and I go, huh?
Love it.
Huh?
They're so gay. Love them.
Yeah, it's very funny how you can just drop a sentence like this and try to convince the audience that this is straight boy behavior.
It gets even wilder, though, because they establish when Fujiwara is looking into Johan's darkness that his darkness is Judai.
Yeah.
And Johan, according to Fujiwara, resents Judai's existence innately, like the moon devouring the sun, and then tells him to devour him.
Yeah, I was going to make an edit. I was going to make an edit because the moon and the sun bit reminded me very much of another show. But I do not want to spoil the majesty of Avataro Sentai Dawn Brothers. All I will say is there are parallels and you should watch it. Also very gay.
You were going to talk about Axel and Sykes.
Axel and Sykes is also a good example. Anytime there's a moon and sun duality parallel with two people who have an inherent connection to each other, those bitches gay. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. You just don't do that unless there's something going on.
We adhere to the rules, we don't make rules.
Yeah.
We respect them. And we let it happen.
If someone came in during this set of episodes, they would immediately know that Fujiwara is the greatest, one of the biggest theater kids of all time, based entirely on the Johan monologue.
Yes.
I wrote that later. I was like, this motherfucker's a theater kid, completely melodramatic. I bet he likes Hamilton.
His ass.
Oh my god.
Bro's a theater kid that will happily psychoanalyze you on Twitter.com.
It's
Yes.
the 10 dual commandments.
I'm trying to.
I'm really gonna miss the whole thing the Flame Wingman does of just floating down in front of the opponent to blast them with fire in the face.
Yes, such a
Big fan.
good attack animation.
Point blank.
So good.
So, Johan gets a little fucked up mentally and is convinced that he has to beat Judai. But wait, no, the fuck he wasn't. He was gaslighting Fujiwara the entire time so that he and Judai could
Their bond is
drop
too
a
strong.
sick combo play. Which, you know, I feel like we've mentioned it before, but I'll continue to mention it. Anytime the characters are suddenly thrown into a tag duel of any kind, or duels where, you know, it's more than two people, so you can kind of play off of others. Do they anticipate that and throw the combo cards for, like, tag duels into their decks, or do you think they just always have these bricks on them?
I think they just keep those bricks on them.
Their luck is so unbelievable that they can just put whatever they want in these decks. They can have an 80 card deck of
It is
trash.
a surprise how like none of these guys ever brick, but I believe in Zeal there is a duel where two characters brick against each other and just take turns bluffing.
we
and
talked
I
going
thought that
like
was Vrains, but yes, there.
Is it? It might be
There's
Vrains.
a Vrains one. One of the guys
Yeah.
is a Goki user.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah, that
Gen-
would absolutely do it.
genuinely, how did it take them 6 years to go? You know what would be a really funny duel that we just had? Nobody draws the good shit. Everybody just
Imagine
opens
it
up.
takes them so long to do it because they're Konami goes, don't make these decks look bad.
Right.
They need to at least do full combo, okay? Can you not?
We
God.
won't be
It
able
has
to
to
buy
be-
them.
It has to be two bad guys doing it as well, so they look like they're dumb.
True.
There needs to be two people that use the same deck, and you can have one of them brick to show that they're just bad.
He doesn't believe, you see. It's because he doesn't have faith in his $300 ace monster. Oh, but
Listen,
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in my deck that I spend a lot of money on.
yeah, that the monster got put on the ban list like a week after.
I'm not talking about that one, but yeah,
Okay.
thank you for reminding me of that one too.
Look,
Hate that for you.
it's still kind of funny.
Please bring back my samurai, please. I need him.
I'm so sorry.
So Fujiwara, after he fails to turn Johan and Judai against each other because he tries to exploit the darkness in their hearts to let anxiety and fear take over and turn them against each other that way. But of course, these guys have dealt with their bullshit and they're an open book to each other. So it don't work like that against those people. He's trying to use weaknesses that don't exist against them. So their friendship is the power that defeats the whatever weakness he's looking for. And then Fujiwara, as far as I could tell, according to my notes, threatens to make them forget everything that ever mattered. And I'm here as a 41-year-old man to tell you, he don't have to do any of that. It's going to happen eventually. You will forget.
I don't need you saying that. I don't need to think about this.
That's so fucked up, but so real. Which is also the theme of a lot of this set
Yes.
that we watched. Is damn, that's fucked up. But I get it though.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't overstate to you how hard I started popping off when they have that moment at the end of 175 where Johan like explicitly just goes, my bonds with the crystal beasts. Judai goes, the will for justice inside my heroes. And then they do the handshake and go, and my friendship with Judai are going to take you down. I was like standing out of my chair. I was so excited.
I was like, they did it! The brother check-in!
I know so many friends have posted that image calling it brother check-in Neos.
Yeah.
And it was great to finally see that shot again.
It's fantastic. I didn't expect that shot to show up in the final 6, but god damn if I wasn't excited.
Oh, it's my favorite. I actually started flailing my arms around and screaming when it happened.
I wish I had made a brother
you're like
check-in.
one of those inflatable tube men outside.
I wish I'd made a brother check-in edit for this one, but there is a different brother check-in that we'll get to later.
What?
Oh boy.
It's not this one.
I hope it's with Satan.
Wouldn't that be funny? Oh man. All right. Since it's the same duel, let's just go ahead and go to episode 176. Ooh. And yeah, so Judai almost gets completely fucked up, and through the power of a single miraculous face down, Johan is able to reduce Flame Wingman's attack points just enough so that Judai is left with, I think, 500. So he survives, but Flame Wingman is still dead. Which, that's rough, buddy.
Rip.
Very, very good moment in the first, 2 minutes of the episode, where Fujiwara drops the line, bonds mean nothing, feelings mean nothing, and I just, in my notes, I go, who fucking hurt you? And then it hard cuts to the kid in the morgue, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
When I saw that, I knew, no wonder you didn't want to dump any of this. He's staring directly where they put the corpses.
Yeah.
What would he be looking at in the dub, though? Like a
like an empty candy store,
a couch.
Yeah,
they would have made it look like a library.
Room.
No,
they'd redraw the entire background, so he's just in front of a candy
they
store.
Make it like a library or something.
I have a better option. So, do you remember the part of Duel Monsters where somebody gets really upset because their parents divorced?
Yes.
This becomes a story about divorce. Instead of his parents dying, it's just they left, and they kind of resented me or something, and then it turns out to be worse than if they had died.
He'd say some shit like, I don't actually like dueling. They shipped me off to this boarding school.
Oh my god.
His background being my parents abandoned me and resent me for their divorce is more fucked up than they died.
Hey.
As a therapist,
that's exactly what happened with mine in season 1.
Yeah, I know. That's
in Duel Monsters. Yeah.
And Raphael?
Well, did Raphael's parents leave in the sub? Or in the dub?
In the original, they died.
Yes, he was the only survivor of that cruise ship. I know. I'm trying to remember specifically.
Yeah. In the dub, he is rescued, and then when he gets home, his family resents him or something.
Oh, they forgot about him.
Yeah, they just forgot. He was just trapped on an island, so they're like,
yeah, it's that classic story thing of they're getting along without me. I am now super upset.
I like to think, though, if they did come to this episode, that they would try and cheap out and be like, let's not replace anything. Let's just dub over the two morticians looking at him being like, man, that kid's been waiting for those coolers full of full of soda for ages. His parents must not be here to open them for him or something.
Yeah, I can't believe their parents, left him over here while they went to go get him a lollipop.
Who's thinking is oh yeah, instead of him just having some grief about his parents being dead, let's have all this trauma about him not being good enough or
Welcome
being
to
loved.
4 Kids in the early 2000s.
They make the whole area look like a pizzeria, and it's just man, that kid's been waiting on those pizzas for a while.
See, no. What I'm thinking is you make the morticians into the school nurses, and you just go, it's a real shame his parents didn't ever give him lunch money. He just has to sit there while everybody else has their food.
God.
Why don't my parents love me enough to give me food money so I can eat? I've been picking raisins out of other people's oatmeal cookies.
Oh, God.
I need to share some of the notes that I have here.
Okay.
Yeah.
As my edible was starting to hit last night.
So when your edible hit, you started writing things like, "You're a grown ass man. What are you saying, you pussy?"
There's I bet this fucker likes Hamilton. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fellas, it's starting to hit. The keys of my keyboard feel too smooth and cool. It's reacting me out. Oh shit, Sparkman. He summoned a new hero. A clever reference to us being on episode 65 of the show. And Bio going, I've never seen Sparkman before.
Okay, I need an edit of the final note, which just says, "Look at that fucking cube!" Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Etc. I need that edited onto image of Picard looking at the Borg cube for the first time.
Oh my god! See, there's multiple different routes you could take that one note, because my brain goes to little guy cube from hit called Classic JRPG Live Alive, who I love,
or
and
even
I have
Dark
an
Side of
emote
Dimensions.
Dark Side of Dimensions is a good one. Hit horror film from 1997 Cube.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
So many routes with
good.
it.
It's a good movie.
Look at that
Well,
cube,
like
and it's just a Rubik's Cube. It's the fucking gold-plated Rubik's Cube the guy from Gotchard has.
Gotchard.
I have these also.
Okay, let's read the rest of these. Why is my
Christ,
screen
dude.
dark? What is happening? It's tinted suddenly. Oh, it's Flux, the program that does that for eyes. I have to do my best Joe Biden here. Claire Cube.
Flare Cube.
Wow, Joe Biden's in the episode now.
That's crazy.
When did he show up?
I don't think anyone knows, even himself.
If 4Kids still dubbed the way they did,
He would be Joe Biden.
there would be a dark Brandon.
Carl,
Yeah.
your next note is what's killing me. End of the Queen. This motherfucker
Yeah.
did it. Call
He did
back
it.
to our winning edit from episode 1 of GX, where it's Ancient Queen Golem.
No.
Damn.
It all comes full circle, baby. I'm sorry. I don't even know. I feel like if I say that out loud, that might
Wow.
be classified as something offensive to someone.
Let me see here.
Which one?
It's you piece of shit, but peace is spelled like, love and
Like
peace.
Scarface, Tony Montana would say it.
And then instead of shit, where the S is, there's a C. And that sounds like it could be offensive to somebody, and I don't want to risk that.
I hope not.
Wait, what does that mean?
It sounds like it's a slur against somebody. I don't want to risk it.
It's the
Sometimes
way
you-
Tony
Sometimes
Montana
you
would
put a
say
word you
it.
don't recognize, and you go, I'm not going to
Yeah.
say it.
Yep.
I'm going to Google it first.
I'm not even Googling it. I'm very scared of what I will find. I'm
I
not
was
going to
just
Google
spelling
it.
shit in a funny way.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I'm sorry. Your last note. What the fuck does
That
that
one.
mean?
What do you mean?
Carl's final note on this page.
Ooh.
Wait, is Johan
There's
out of this? Sorry, I was too busy being the funniest member of this fucking show.
That's
So,
just bullshit.
So Shibuya,
What's up?
I have phenomenal news. It's ready. Hey Bridget, I really hope that you're in chat for this.
Oh, God.
I'm
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Where are you putting it? Here.
I'm sending it to
he
Shibuya
has sent it
directly.
to me, and oh boy, you should be scared by
Why
you
me?
specifically should be
Why?
very afraid.
Oh, that thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
going to be
say,
awesome.
okay, so Shibuya gets back from PAX Magfest.
Magfest.
All right, same thing. And just kidding. And sends me a DM, and he's like, "Hey, what's your address? I want to send you something." And then with no context, well, with additional context, sends me a zoomed-in picture of Time Wizard. I was
Yes.
like, "No, please."
Yes. So I
The
wanted to get
one-time wizard hater on Earth, BioRoxas.
I wanted to get gifts for people at Mag, and especially for like the people on the show. So I have little trinkets for everybody. And my to my good friend BioRoxas, I did buy not just a secret second thing, but also the Time Wizard Funko Pop. Anyway, here's the
Oh my god!
Holy shit.
It's you and your favorite monster.
No, not the
Bubble
Time
Man.
Wizard Kane. What the fuck?
Holy shit! I'm
Oh my
stunned.
God.
Hey Bio,
Oh,
it's Bubble Man in
shit.
the OP.
You love
Look
Bubble
at
Man!
him. It's your favorite.
everyone's favorite hero, Bubble Man,
Christ.
and his completely unusable other form, Neo Bubble Man.
Oh God.
God, I hate that. That is awesome.
Oh man. Shorah,
You can thank Dragon Chili for watching the last episode of the Program Advance podcast, where I threatened to do this, and they paid me $30 to do this.
yeah, it's incredible.
That
If
sounds
we
like a good
ever
podcast.
if we ever make merch Mel Mike and officially sell it. This is definitely a sticker.
Yeah.
100% this is a sticker. So anyway, back to Fujiwara having no parents because they're dead. He's standing in the morgue looking at the freezer where they keep the corpses. And then Honest falls to the ground and like comforts him as he's crying, and I'm like, oh.
So
no wonder.
Fujiwara in present, when he's dueling them, says specifically, feelings and bonds mean nothing and are just trash that can be disposed of at the side of the road.
Jeez.
And he specifically says it that way. And every time it shows Honest crying for him, I just think that this was somehow inspired by those old commercials with the Native American man crying because of the trash on the side of the road.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So it feels very much like, why is this guy obsessed with trash on the side of the road? Because he keeps bringing it up.
That was the last commercial his parents and he watched on TV before the accident.
Before the accident.
A horrible boating accident that took his family's life.
Hey, speaking of boats, we're not doing that. That's not the transition.
What?
Oh, thank God. Thank you, God.
Scared me.
Oh, God.
We're not even done with the episode. We have to talk about how Johan hit the fucking Yamcha death pose.
Well,
I thought you were going to say the gritty for some reason.
That is
He hit
the
the
end of the
gritty.
episode, is the thing.
Well, when they put it in Fortnite, he'll be hitting the gritty.
True. True.
Oh god, Shibuya, you gotta cut out that Johan and put it next to the Jaden on the thumbnail now.
See, I forgot to save the the PSD. So unfortunately,
No.
that's going to be
No.
difficult. However, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, there
It's
we
fine.
go.
I cooked it. Don't you worry. I know what I'm doing. And we have him matching with his boyfriend in the crater. And also with Grandpa Moto, who was also in the crater earlier this series.
He doesn't know where he is, okay?
This poor old man couldn't get a break in his original series. Can't get a break in this series.
That'll be okay.
That's what happens when you're like 90 years old.
Hey,
I
he got
guess,
the
yeah.
he got the ultimate break in the original series where they went back to his youth and he looked like a stone cold fox.
Oh, yeah.
That's
And then
true.
he
Yeah,
broke
that
his
was
hip.
crazy.
I remember having like a crisis of faith when I saw young Grandpa Moto, and I was like, he shouldn't be attractive. What do you mean?
And you're like, this
Why
shouldn't
is he
do
hot?
anything to me. What's going on here?
Like that one part from 14. If you guys have played Shadowbringers with a like huge disgusting guy that then transforms into like a super hot guy.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Bothry in that
Bothry,
is just an awful little
Grandpa-
slug dude.
Grandpa's just like that guy.
Just the same thing.
Why are you saying
Grandpa
Gramps
smoking
is
the
a
shit that
slug,
made
dude?
Solomon
He
king.
wanted an analogy so bad, and I'm being nice enough to let him have it.
Thanks, Casey. The one time you're nice, someone else picks up the reins. It's okay.
I do like that Fujiwara's motivation for doing this and like resorting to nihilism and nothingness is actually something that's understandable, where it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
trauma bred this really fucked up fear of being forgotten. So he was like, fuck it, I'll make them forget me first. That way I
It's a
can
pretty
take
natural
control of it.
trauma response, yeah.
Yeah.
Reject others before you can be rejected yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And
It's very human.
The
again,
design is very human.
you get to see why 4Kids refused to dub this, because he draws up the ritual circle. He accidentally spills blood into it, and then the shit hits the fan. The shit goes wrong immediately when blood is involved. So,
What was the blood?
Yeah, I'm like,
supposed
oh,
to be
this
for?
is a real magic circle.
yeah.
But like,
Well,
here's
the-
my question. So you see a montage of him hanging out, like it's one of those things where it's like, I was there the whole time, and you see him hanging out with like Zane and whatever the
Atticus.
equivalent names.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atticus, yeah, everybody. And it feels very much like that one scene from The Office where Michael Scott has photoshopped his face onto his current partner's ex-husband's ski trip. But what I really was curious about is that you see him putting all these photos of those memories on the wall. Who took those fucking photos?
That's always the greatest question.
That is a wonderful question. To be funny, I'm going to say honest, And I like to believe that then
Then Atticus and Zane are like, that camera's floating.
yeah, and he just goes, magic, and they go, that's fucking sick, Fujiwara, high five. And they just don't question him.
This
for
is
And
it.
why
he's
you're
like,
an obelisk blue,
I must
dude.
make them forget me.
Don't worry, it was just their unnamed tertiary friend Blorbo.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone
yes.
loves Blorbo.
Yo, Blorbo from my
Blorbo.
shows.
Or
I
as
know
he-
He's my
him.
favorite dude.
Or as
Blorbo
we knew
from
them in
Blorbio.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, Cardboard.
No, don't bring her into this. Now I have to get a photo. Oh,
Wait,
That's still one of the best bits we had from
I forgot
Yu-Gi-Oh!
about
Season 0.
yeah.
what was her name?
I'd rather
Cardboard.
not
Mio?
say it.
Apparently cardboard.
Why did you
talking
say
about the
her
girl
name
with purple
again?
hair? Is that
What
what's
was it?
going on?
Mio?
Yeah,
Mio?
Miho.
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 So, yeah,
I liked her.
Miho is the for the people who either did not watch season 0 or haven't gone back to catch up. So there's a one-off character in the early parts of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga before it focuses on the card game, where Tristan has a crush on her and he wants
A
to confess,
single
and they do the
chapter.
whole puzzle thing. She's part of that one story arc in the manga, and then at the end of it, it's just like, you know, I'm sorry, I don't like you that way. It was a very kind gesture, and I respect it, but I don't reciprocate. And so, of course, what we have to do for the anime adaptation of that over at Toei is, you know, make her a full-fledged character and part of the group who does nothing and contributes nothing for the entirety of that. It's great. Surely, it doesn't make me resent anything.
They knew
I
what
like
they were
that
doing.
the morticians are just chatting about the kid right in front of him.
Yeah.
They're like, shame about that kid's parents, right?
Glad I'm not
Like, he's
that
like,
poor
right
son of a
there.
bitch. I love
I
my
can't
parents.
believe he's not getting
I love
pizzas.
children's media where just there's no tact from any adult ever.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They just think every kid's gonna listen to them like Charlie Brown. Just
Hey,
womp womp
you're that
noises.
kid with the dead parents. Sorry that your parents are dead, you dumb piece of shit. You need to get out of here, though. I got a job to do.
They don't think about it ever again. This kid's thinking about it every day for the rest of his life.
And
I
like,
went
did
back
they,
to the hospital and I killed him. I killed him dead, and he screamed, "Why?"
did they tell the kid that his parents were in the in those and he's staring at it and they're just like, he knows they're in there, I guess.
I don't know.
What is
No, they just
going on?
They just brought this child down to a morgue. They're like, "Hey, you want to see what's in these drawers?"
I mean, like in real life, there needs to be a family member to confirm the bodies. So the fucked
Was
up,
that-
the fucked up and horrible thing is like he probably saw his parents' corpses a second ago, and these guys are just here
No, he's
talking
like, yeah,
about
these
it.
are my parents' 2 lockboxes. Looks just like them.
Oh, God.
I don't
Wait
need
a
to
minute, you
go
mean there were
further.
people in these the whole time?
Oh shit!
That's great. Yeah.
You mean that I shouldn't be storing things where I've been putting them? Where have you been putting them?
In there.
The guy pulls his parents out of the fucking the cabinet thing, and there's just a 6-pack squirreled away behind their head. Like, what? It keeps them cold.
Oh my
I rewatched the Kamen Rider Ryuki final movie. What is it called? Movie final. I forget what it's called.
yeah.
But there's a subplot where they introduce the lady Kamen Rider. I've forgotten her name. She
Fam, I think.
Mrs. Common Rider.
Femme, yeah, has like a sister or something that's frozen. That she's been killed by Oga. What's his name?
Oja?
Oja.
Oja. my
Yeah,
bad,
purple
sorry. Asakura. She's been killed by him, and like they cut and they show her talking to somebody who's got this woman on ice, and it never comes up again. And I was just baffled. Like, so she's just gonna be in that fridge for the rest of the time?
Yeah, don't worry about it. She likes it in there.
You want to like fix this at all?
Giving a new
No,
meaning to
she
fridging
don't-
women in media, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, she likes it in there. It's fine. She enjoys the temperature. Keeps her cozy.
It's the photo of the dog in the car, except it's just a lady in a block of ice. God. Oh, man.
I feel like just going to therapy could have fixed a lot of
Yes.
the issues here.
I feel like going to
Yeah.
therapy is the solution to a lot of the villains in
But the problem is,
A
it's
lot of people
Yu-Gi-Oh!
in
So
general.
if you go to a therapist, they're like, "I challenge you to a duel while I'm giving
Well, I
you
mean-
therapy."
No,
It's-
that's when you go to pay the bill. If you win,
I
it's
wouldn't-
free.
I wouldn't say that it was like for the first two antagonists we had for this season at all, because the first one was like a crazy old man who just wanted to be immortal, and the second one was a guy possessed by an interstellar demon.
I feel like the crazy guy could have used some therapy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
assuming
like,
that
I feel like
he's set in
old
his
man
ways.
still could have used therapy.
No,
This
it's
is
all right.
assuming
It's
that
okay. It's
Kaiba would
okay.
allow.
Everyone in the show
a
likes
therapist.
Kagamaru now, despite him doing all of that of his free will.
This is all
That's
assuming that
true.
Kaiba would put in the budget for a therapist for this school.
Yeah, he doesn't care about mental health. He toughs everything out.
Yeah, he was
Rip.
raised to not believe in therapy, so you know what? That's fair.
Mokuba's like, I've been traumatized by everything that we've been put through, and Kaiba just goes, "Suck it up, pussy, eat your Arby's."
Oh god.
Just make a nihilist Arby's account. Get over it.
Jeez.
His origin story.
Oh man.
Kaiba's just like, my mental health has no negative aspects to it. Jesus.
Kaiba just goes, if you're not dueling with mental health problems, then you're third rate. Get out of my sight.
Big brother, you're literally coping by putting yourself into fucking Duel Monsters as a trading card. We've all seen Kaiba, man.
Man.
Speaking of Kamen Rider.
Shut up, I'm not owned.
Oh.
So Judai summons Honest at this point, right? And
Yes.
Fujiwara sees Honest and says, "I've forgotten all about that guy. Who remembers trash they throw on the side of the road?" And it's like, why do you keep saying it like this? Did you do a lot of littering?
He practiced
Like,
this.
Desperately trying to convince himself.
He practiced these interactions once in the shower, and he has one line. He cannot come up with a second one, so he has to stick with it because this is the one that he knows he can deliver in a way that is quote-unquote intimidating.
Whenever
God,
you
it's
get like
just
a
like
good
me for
reaction
real.
or the reaction you were hoping for when you say something, you're like, all right, they like this. Let's keep rolling with this. It's
Yeah.
a big hit. See if I can
This bit
keep
was
it
good.
going.
Let's roll it into the ground.
Yes.
I'm just picturing him as a child on the way to the morgue, just dumping trash out the car window. Just
Oh
fucking
my
loving it.
god.
He's got a huge bag, just dumping
He
it.
never learned that littering was bad because his parents are dead.
Oh, no.
The minute his parents died, a wicked smile crossed his face, and he was like, "I can pollute the planet now." Fuck you."
I will poison the planet that took them from me.
He has a real grudge against Captain Planet.
I was about to say we're getting dangerously close to this being a Captain Planet plot.
Man. I thought for sure that this whole trash on the side of the road thing was going to hard cut to, like, you know, a flaming car with the kid battered and bruised picking up his deck from the side of the road where it flew out of the window, and then Honest was there. 'Cause, you know, there was an episode very recently where there was an actual car crash with a flaming vehicle, so I would not put it past them, and then they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire episode where fucking Axel Brody was like, okay, but what if I had to choose between my parents?
What if you were 7, right? Now stick with me here. And what if the car was on fire?
So-
Have fun.
All
So
right,
just
you
the-
got
the
me
TL
intrigued.
So the TLDR for that episode, Martin, is basically Axel has an entire episode where you're led to believe his mother is dead. Except at the very end, you realize, no, it's a delusion he's had about whether or not in a situation, like an emergency situation, if he would choose between his father or his mother's life.
Right,
If they
right.
were both in a car that was set on fire.
One of those classic situations.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
classic
you know.
situation of both the audience and the protagonist of the episode are being gaslit simultaneously. It was a phenomenal just episode. Because, like, GX has never done something like this. And so for them to be so bold-faced as to be like, we fucking lied to you. For 23 minutes, I clapped.
It's like playing through Heavy Rain and you realize that Scott Shelby is doing all this stuff and it's just telling you he's not doing it because he doesn't believe he's doing it.
Yeah.
It's so funny in that game.
It's great. So good.
I feel like we're dancing around the real question which is who would win in a fight between Jaden and Don Cheadle, Captain America?
Don Cheadle, Captain America.
Not Captain
know,
America, Captain
Oh.
Planet. Sorry.
Oh.
Captain.
Yeah,
I don't know,
was
what
about to
kinda- what kinda deck is
I
he
believe
running?
he's War Machine.
Yeah, I messed that up.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all
I
good.
do remember that skip where he was Captain Planet. That shit was crazy.
Do you think Don Cheadle, Captain Planet, runs weather painters?
Oh God.
Probably.
Possibly.
Yeah, it could probably work.
And this is where Fujiwara says end of the Queen when he attacks with Clear Vicious Knight, which is, a weird thing to hear post Queen.
Yeah. It's a little crazy. Didn't know Fujiwara got that big into the monarchy, but if he's a theater kid, he
Yeah.
can have various interests. That's fine.
Well, it's fine. Like, the Queen disappeared, but then we brought her back as an ancient gear golem that one time. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
funny.
Good times.
We've got some
time.
awful bits here.
All of my notes are just, oh my God, he drew Honest. Let's go Honest Neos, please. The board gets wiped, like, entirely. Like, Johan sacrifices Rainbow Dragon in order to do just a full board state reset when it's Judai's turn next. Very cool stuff. Love that. Judai draws into polymerization with Neos and Honest in his hand, and then he doesn't do it. And I'm like, this
Well, yeah,
is cool,
because-
but like,
He
Because
does
he's
something
setting up
really
for the
cool,
better
though.
play.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a better play in theory, but like Neos with wings rules. He's
Oh, it's
so
great.
cool.
But the boyfriends.
They are boyfriends, and I do respect the power of Rainbow Neos because I look at him and I go, hell yeah, love wins.
And, like,
Yeah.
he did use
Yeah.
Honest for it. He used Honest to fucking increase
he-
its attack.
Yeah,
which
he
was
used Honest
wild.
to
Yeah.
turn him into a nuclear bomb. He just set, the end game board state on the field.
It was sick.
It was very cool.
There's a moment before it where Fujiwara asks one of the most absurd questions that any character has ever asked in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, which is, what has friendship ever done for anyone? And it's kind of like it's kind of like if he said, what has oxygen ever done for anyone in the Yu-Gi-Oh world,
Yeah.
What has friendship ever done for anyone? Halakti in the fucking afterlife with the pharaoh, like, bitch.
Yeah.
We killed
You
the
picked
ultimate
the worst
evil.
person to ask this question. Maybe the worst.
Yeah, like if you had asked this to, maybe Chaz, then he would stumble trying
He'd
to
be
figure
like,
out
there's
an
some
answer
highs
for
and
you.
lows to this whole thing.
Very very big fan of Johan taking the hit so that Judai can actively go on to finish the duel, and that is when he, collapses into a pile like that in the crater,
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
ripped to a real
Poor
one.
dude.
Mm.
And then I believe it's Judai who activates the rival's name card, where that is Joey Wheeler and Red Eyes. Straight up, that's
yeah.
just them.
The rival's name. It straight up is just a Joey card. It's great.
It's so cool, especially because, Heart of the Underdog is a card that everybody compares to Joey because it's like the hairstyle and all that. But this implies that Pegasus looked on at, like, both of their dueling futures with both Yugi and Joey and just went, yeah, no, he's good at turning this shit around. He gets his own, like, he gets his own card. With his ace monster. And I think that just what it implies about how far Joey went from the beginning of that series is phenomenal. It's very good.
Yeah, it plays well, especially in season 3 of this show, when Pegasus describes like the 5 best duelists in the world, and Joey's like the second one he mentions.
Yeah.
When he's trying to gas up Johan initially in the Crystal Beast.
It's very good.
So he definitely goes on to being like really successful past his last duel in the original series where he loses because he uses 18 luck-based cards like an idiot.
Well,
Yeah.
Exactly. See, luck-based cards, just shit.
okay, that was
As
part
it turns
of
out,
it.
never stop gambling.
Woke up like a sleeper agent.
Now,
I
Bio,
do really
that's part
love
of the...
the idea that
Go ahead.
Oh, I do really love the idea that Pegasus took a look at this fucking kid who wasn't even supposed to be part of the tournament initially and went, you know what? Yeah, he's actually pretty good. Fuck it. I'm going to rank him above Kaiba.
He probably thinks Joey's the most cartoony of them all.
Absolutely.
Joey uses a
You know,
lot
that
of
We
little
can go
explains
hang out and
Red
like
Eyes.
watch some stuff together, you know.
Now, not only is Joey's deck very based and chance-pilled, it is also a deck full of little dudes like Graceful Dice, Skull Dice, Little Wingguard, Swordsman of
Swordsman
Landstar.
of Landstar.
And Pegasus looks at that and he goes, he's just like me for real. I'll make a card for you. Fuck it. It's also just cool seeing, you know, if this world is meant to be one shared universe that's interconnected, and this is the legacy. These are the characters following in the footsteps of their predecessors and saving the world and all that. It's very, very cool to see more than like one or two instances of the way that people like Yugi and Joey and Kaiba impacted the world and the game itself. So.
And then Anzu is somewhere tap dancing, I think, or
She's in
ballet.
New York.
Yeah.
You know what? She might be in the theater next to where they're playing Hamilton. We don't know.
There
I was
you
gonna say
go.
she was in Hamilton. She's one of the extras.
I mean, she wanted to dance. I don't know that
Who's
she would
dancing
be.
in Hamilton?
I think she'd be in Cats. Cats.
Oh,
What
fuck
is it?
yeah.
Oh.
She's
Oh.
Mephistopheles.
God.
That's okay.
She's all about it.
You're like, I don't like the angle we just went in on.
Sometimes
Oh,
you just
there.
gotta pivot away as gracefully as you
There.
can.
There are less Cats fans than there are Kamen Rider fans here, huh?
I'm sorry. Whenever I have to remember James Corden in that movie, I need to black it out as quickly as possible.
Why,
Right?
why
That's how I
you
feel whenever I have to
specify in
remember
that
James
movie?
Corden.
That's the correct stance.
Hmm.
The honest play on Rainbow Neos is very good because it adds Clear Vicious Knight can only add a monster's original attack points to itself, and then by using the boost, Rainbow Neos is over 10k. And as the proud owner of Skull Servant decks, yeah, I love when you get your boss monster in 5-digit range because that's
really
just
good.
the coolest thing to drop on your opponent. Very
That and
enjoyable.
it, you know, it being the combo of 2 ace monsters for the 2 people trying to beat him and his spirit also working together. So it's like the perfect. This is how you would end this duel.
Yeah, this is the literal metaphor of bonds triumphing over the fear of loss.
It is the perfect antithesis to the division that Fujiwara is trying to sow between the friends. It is their combination and their fusion. It is their friendship.
Yeah, and GX's core mechanic is fusion, so you know the fusion of two wills, phenomenal. I can't really say anything else. The final attack being called Honesty Rainbow Flare Stream, I just clapped. I love stupid attack names that are just cool. It's just
That's
rule
me
of
when
cool.
I tell the truth.
Yeah.
And the fact that the beam from it not only kills Clear Vicious Knight, it also kills every Mr. T in the immediate vicinity of the duel arena. The beam's like
vaporizes all of them.
auto-target. It's so good.
They're like,
Just
we're
like
done. No more of these things, please.
We can't pay this voice actor anymore. Get him out of here.
Just like the end of Rocky 3, Mr. T is defeated.
Yeah. And then I'm just sitting there and I'm going, well, that was fun. It's time for them to graduate. What?
Nope.
Because, you know.
As
I'm
much
sorry, you
as
thought that
Fujiwara
was the
said
end?
in the last episode of the last set that this was the final battle, that was wrong.
No,
Yeah.
the blooming onion eclipse. No.
He sure did gaslight me. So there is still an eclipse going on, even though darkness should have been defeated when Fujiwara was, you know, turned back to normal. He's not. The world is not normal. And everybody
Darkness
in the
has
world
bloomed and
has
taken over the
disappeared.
world like an onion.
So
so true.
this edit for context. Carl, what was it, like 40 minutes before recording? Something like that?
Yep.
Tweeted out. Let me get the exact wording on this. Why did you retweet so much shit before? There we go. So I had to scroll through like 10 tweets. Tweeted a photo of just a bloomin' onion in a plastic takeout container, saying, "We've flown far too close to the sun." And I looked at this and I went, my brother in Christ, we have recording in an hour, and you're gonna tempt fate like this.
Well, my first note for GX episode 177 is I ordered Outback for lunch with a smiley face.
That's awesome,
So
dude.
you can tell what happened there.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, coming down
isn't it just
off
like a
that,
fried
I don't know
onion?
what you expected.
Yeah, bloomin' onions are just like you.
That sounds so
I
gross.
believe you cut
It's
the
so
onion up,
good.
and then
Better than it sounds.
I mean onion rings.
I don't
It's
like
onion rings, but the onion is just one
Oh,
big
come
thing that
on.
is fried.
Bio, you are below what a human should be.
Shut up.
Wow.
This is where I
Sorry.
feel awkward because I also don't like onions. But
Yeah,
all right.
attack
Yeah, but
Shorah.
it's, no, but it's fine. But if you
No,
did
no,
not
but
even
Bio
do
said
it
it first. So I have to put all my anger for Bio.
Until you've
Bring up
had
the
a
bubble
bloomin'
wives
onion.
image again.
Until you've had a bloomin' onion, I don't think, because I'm not a big fan of onions either, but bloomin' onion's brilliant. But having said that, that is not a bloomin' onion. That is a dooming onion.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's in the sky where the moon should be. That's not where an onion goes.
It doomed me all right to lethargy.
I mean, lethargy is better than what I was afraid was going to happen. Okay. While we're on this topic, I'm just gonna ask everybody at the table here.
Yeah.
French fries versus onion rings, which do you prefer?
French fries.
French fries.
Yeah.
French fries.
Yeah.
Who would no French fries? Yes.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
glad we're all on the right
See-
side of history.
I don't feel like they're the equivalents of one another,
No,
honestly.
that's not the same, I don't think. One is much heftier, I think.
Like I enjoy both, but I'll always get fries because sometimes you can't trust onion rings from some places.
Yeah. Yeah, and when the onion rings are soggy as well, like, I'll still eat a soggy fry. If it's a soggy onion ring, it's just nasty.
Yeah.
Plus, like, onion rings are generally a bigger, like, dedication than fries. You can eat just a handful of fries and save the rest if you want.
Yeah.
You
You
can't
have
really do
choices
that
with
as easily.
fries.
If the onion rings, you can put them on your burger if you got a burger. You can do it with fries too, but like nice fried onion on a burger is really good.
Yeah, but if I'm already having a burger, if I'm gonna get onions on it, like, I prefer caramelized onions on a burger over anything
That's fair.
else.
That's very fair.
But if I just have a couple slices of onion, it adds the crunch and it adds just a little bit extra flavor. With an onion ring, it just gets weighed down by more fried shit. And with a burger, I'm always having fries on the side.
Hey, when did we start talking about dinner plans?
When
We
I
should be
put
talking
the
about
onion on the
combo of
eclipse.
terror, Zero and Infinity, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX episode 177.
Yeah, so boss is done wrong. Well, not wrong, but one of the most boring ways that you can have like a boss's deck play out for a good while on this one. I also think that let me put him on screen. This motherfucker, Darkness, who apparently is the actual Night Shroud. I was looking
Yeah.
him up, and that's just him.
It's the culmination of all of the Night Shroud stuff with Atticus.
Which
and,
makes a
the
lot of what he
Avenging Dawn.
says total bullshit, because he acts like he's just a neutral party.
Yeah.
Yeah, when in fact it's very clear looking at him. That is Satan. Judah's gonna duel Satan.
No, because he implies he was
Tom
there
Cruise.
before the universe was. So that's
This
Cthulhu,
is Yu-Gi-Oh!
my man.
Satan. All
Thi-
right.
This
So,
is Yu-Gi-Oh!
Where does he
Cthulhu.
stack up against Zork?
I've been saying this it was Satan since it aired.
Because their Duel Monsters established that Zork was the embodiment of all evil.
Yeah, this guy's darkness, not evil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I still
very
can't
much
believe
just
that
like-
they really ended the Zork stuff in Duel Monsters with fucking Halakti actually going, by destroying Zork, evil will no longer exist across all of the world.
No, incorrect. Honey, you don't live here. You don't know. You don't know the horrors. The horrors in question being on screen right
The horrors in question.
now.
Good ass design though, honestly.
The fact that his wings are the spell, trap, and monster zones are really fucking good. I love that. Because
I was I was sitting there waiting for this man to just like pull out some fucked up and evil dual disc, and then he
Bone
just
dual
pops
disc,
out
yeah.
wings, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And because when you think about it, the way a dual disc looks, especially in like Duel Monsters era, it does kind of look a little like a wing. So this is just really sick.
And anime
I
wings
also-
are cool, especially in the 2000s.
Do
Yeah.
you think Joey ever took two dual discs and like flapped them around and tried to fly?
100%.
100%.
He would do this.
Yes.
He found the dual disc made for left-handed people who draw with their left, and was just like, "Well, watch this, Tristan. This is gonna be really cool."
See,
So
I
he
like to
broke his knee.
imagine.
Yes.
I like to imagine that Joey played Far Cry once, looked at the dual disc, and went, "Ooh, I could zipline with this."
Oh God. He comes into Kaiba Corp being all depressed, and he's like, "Can I talk to Mokuba?" No, you get me. What's going on, Wheeler? I broke my fucking
Now
dual
we need
disc.
we need Joey in Fortnite with the dual discs on his arms as the glider.
God, yes.
Oh,
See, that's also
Oh, the dual
really good.
glider.
But consider Baby Dragon carrying his ass.
So
like-
the extra,
Like in Capsule
extra-
Monsters.
the extra funny bit of this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains actually basically has dual gliders.
yeah, but you guys are missing the obvious one. Of course, they're gonna put in Seto Kaiba, and his glider's gonna be the Blue Eyes Jet.
Yes.
Oh, God, that would be so
100%.
good.
I
Now-
actually need that one.
If they
Yeah.
did a Yu-Gi-Oh collab, I need them to put in songs from Music to Duel by in
Oh,
the game, so that when you get into the car, at any point with your entire crew, it'll just start blasting "You're Not Me." I need it
Jam
so
track.
bad.
amazing.
Shibuya,
Jam tracks, yes. Oh, hey, Epic Games, if you're listening to this on the off chance, hi, hello. Put Yu-Gi-Oh in Fortnite, please. I'm begging you, please.
We all want it.
It would be so cool. I would spend money. I would do it.
So with Fujiwara defeated, the eclipse hasn't lifted yet, and Jaden starts hearing a voice fucking taunting him like, "No, you're not done yet. No, I'm not owned yet."
I'm still here, idiot. Get fucked. And
But he
just
also
Sure.
he runs into a room with a computer on, and it's showing footage of different famous landmarks live streamed.
yeah.
He's like,
Listen.
here's Australia. Here's like Big
Profe-
Ben.
Professor Banner's a bit of a voyeur. What can we say?
Oh God.
He loves watching those landmarks.
Professor Banner's totally like, he's the type of dude who's just like, "I'm going to hack into security cameras and watch people."
Do you think that he has like?
He's so good at GeoGuessr, dude.
Do
Oh
you think
no.
that he's recorded like different videos of people tripping in these locations and just watches them back every now and then to make himself laugh?
I feel like Professor Banner would just watch America's Funniest Home Videos. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
He would
God.
just throw it on, and then Pharaoh would step on the.
This
on the
one's my
keyboard and
favorite
change the
one.
channel.
This woman drops this cake all over herself in the sidewalk.
Oh, I love it when the child gets on his hoverboard and then trips into the wall. It's so funny, Pharaoh.
Was that the first like fake reactor where they just like played clips from other people and then made money from it?
Yeah, actually.
Are
think
Are
it
you
might
saying that
be.
Professor Banner's the Ray William Johnson of Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh my God.
What's happening for him?
But it's just the
Oh,
forum in
God.
Rome, and he's looking at his computer footage of it.
Yeah, but you know, the fidelity's so good it almost feels like you're there sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So Night Shroud reveals himself. He's a big skeleton man, and I pop off because I'm like, yeah, good ass design. We love a good skeleton.
But
Yeah,
it is
I-
important to note that at this point, it is established from looking at footage of 3 different places, there is nobody else in the world. It's just
Oh, yeah.
Judai.
Yeah, Judai is the last man standing.
Yep. It is extended beyond just Domino City.
Can I just say
And
I'm
that
really
one,
glad
and that one
that
log cabin where Adrian Brody's parents used to live. It is
I'm really
now
glad
gone
that Judai
worldwide.
doesn't have to wear glasses so that one fucking situation doesn't happen to him where he's like, I got all the time in the world to read.
Oh
No.
God.
No,
But
my
it-
glasses.
He would be like, I've got all the
think
time in the
Jaden
world
can
to
read?
duel. Sits on duel disk. No.
No.
Oh, let me go to the storage closet real quick. Surely there's more.
They're all broken.
Chumley's in there,
So-
sat on them.
No.
So as Jaden and
Shuffling the rest of the time.
This
As Jaden
explains
and
why
the
they all have
invo-
colors now. He sat on all the old ones.
We can burn the old dual discs to start a fire to make some grilled cheese.
No. Not.
Delicious.
No.
So Jaden and the embodiment of darkness start to chat, and darkness is going on about how he comes from the origin of the world, and how the world that Jaden knows is like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. They're the front-facing part of the card, and he's the back of the card.
Now, dual monsters existing since, like, ancient Egypt, and being inspired by a game that was played in the time of the pharaohs, that's fine. We know the Egyptians in real life also invented a lot of games, and games are like a core part of human history.
No, fuck you. Dual Monsters is the building blocks of the universe.
Before the universe, there was dual monsters, and then the Big Bang happened. Is not something I expected to see in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, bro.
I just wrote down. Bro's just yapping at this point. The cards are made by Pegasus.
Like before, it was a card game made by like an American who liked cartoons. No, it was from Egypt. No, it was from Atlantis. No, it created the Big Bang actually.
So what do you think the first monster to come into contact with Earth was then?
Neos.
No.
The first one to do contact.
Shape Snatch.
God. See, I mean, the trees came before the people, if we're going by certain mythologies, so I like to think it was Trent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flower Wolf, maybe?
Don Cheadle, Captain Planet.
Somebody make a custom card of Don Cheadle, Captain Planet, please.
God.
Elemental hero, Don Cheadle, Captain Planet.
Holy shit, let's go!
He then goes on talking about how if humans had kept light in their hearts, then peace would have been, maintained. But because people started to get mad that they weren't having fun with Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, suddenly the entire world must be destroyed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's not on the people, that's on bad game design or power creep.
Sorry, little Timmy, you built a monster beatdown deck that you didn't like running? Well, sorry, you genocided the planet.
Oops.
Because it does cut back to that one kid we saw near the start of this,
Yeah.
implying that he was like not.
He was the linchpin.
He wasn't quite patient zero, but he was one of the first.
Turns out
He was
Yu-Gi-Oh!
like-
GX anti-children.
He was the linchpin. He was like, you pull that out and the water just starts flowing.
God.
The pressure's been building up, but that was the fucking thing that started.
The kid took a sledgehammer to the dam, and then it just like fucked up everything in its wake, and the point is he should have just built a better deck. This
I
kid
agree.
should have been better.
So Darkness's or Night Shroud's plan here seems to be, or I say plan. He acts like he's not intending to do this shit, but he's doing it.
I'm just letting things happen while I play to win.
Yeah.
His plan is he's got everybody's souls consumed by darkness. They're all inside of him, and he's quote unquote protecting them from the bonds that cause pain outside of darkness in our reality. He's keeping everybody sort of in a void, essentially, that is his existence. And so everybody is stuck inside of darkness right now. And honestly, it feels almost beat for beat the same as the motivation of the villain from Shin Kamen Rider.
Yes, actually.
It kind of is,
I
honestly.
get that.
Jeez.
Yeah. And
So
he-
I
sadly,
respect
Darkness
how you
never.
got us there. I honestly respect that a lot.
Sadly, Darkness doesn't ever ask Judai if he fucked his sister.
yeah,
so-
I know, right? That would have been so much better. For people who have not watched Shin Kamen Rider, that's a real line said
Yeah.
by the actual villain, and he just goes, Did you sleep with my sister? He goes, no. And he's like, then you have no reason to fucking be here. Leave. Leave now.
It's literally the first interaction the hero and the villain have.
Yeah,
That's
the first
awesome.
question. It's so good. Darkness really is trying to act like a neutral party in all this, when Darkness is now explicitly going, okay, y'all fucked up, so it's my time to be an active party and destroy humanity by, like, saving them from their own evils and desires and pain.
He basically implies that, like, this shit's out of his control, that it's just like, oh, well, you know, fucking, I'm just doing my job.
Just have
Y'all
to
fucked up.
possess teenagers and make them do things, I guess.
No, this is your fault that everyone has to be nihilists now. This is your fault, Jacob.
Well, you know, if I go to live in an isolated dimension and then you fuckers call me, what am I supposed to do? Not answer? You kept calling me.
At one point, there's a montage of all of the sort of supporting cast of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX being taken out by a dark flood. Like when their anxieties and their own darkness starts consuming them. It's very like I say, end of Evangelion, where they're just being like obliterated by this water, and it's metaphysical, but it's also happening to them literally. And you hear Darkness say, "A raging river cannot be stopped. As I flow, I purge small obstacles that stand in my way." It's called a dam, mate.
Yeah. Again, the one kid who had his, like, funny monster beat down deck in his house when his parents came home, took a sledgehammer to the dam and broke it. And, you know, maybe children shouldn't be trusted with sledgehammers. Maybe
there you go.
Maybe we need to monitor our children a little better so they don't play a trading card game meant for children.
I think our children should have more sledgehammers, actually.
No.
I think it makes it more funny.
Controversial.
The only hammers we should give them are the card magical mallet. That's my stance on the matter.
The only difference is this is a world where nobody's calling for trading card control. Unless control's a format.
Right. Oh, man. Oh, no, my only real notes about this episode were a feather duster or heavy storm would have gone crazy here.
I know.
And also, the only thing hetero about this boy is the chromia.
That is incredibly valid.
That's really good.
I was in the same spot, by the way. As soon as it started, I went, just clear the back row. We can do this.
Yeah.
Imagine turn 1, Jaden just herpes feather dusters this dude, and he immediately has to scramble like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh no.
Oh, well, my entire strategy's ruined now.
No, my combo.
Guess I'll just leave.
Are we glossing over the fact that Darkness, Nitrad, whatever the fuck, looked at Judai and said, "You're incompatible with me. You're a genetic freak, and I'm gonna take you out." Because I think it's awesome.
He literally
like,
calls
you're
him
low-key
a foreign
quite weird.
object.
He looks at Judai and Yubel's fused spirits, and he goes, "I don't vibe with you. You need to go."
You guys are kind of sus.
I do believe he makes a point of saying that the existence of Duel Academy put a strain on the stability of the dimensional, like the reality, like reality itself was weakened because of the shit that was going down during GX. So I've written, of course, Duel Academy would break reality.
Bad things keep happening, and them going, it seems like Duel Academy is like this spot where bad stuff's going to happen again, even at the start of this season.
Yeah.
The escalation of them going, this place is bad, man.
It's insane how...
This place isn't very good.
Leave it to the man who made a space elevator to go meet his dead boyfriend to break reality.
Yeah. Now, if Kaiba had just chosen to build Duel Academy, like, I don't know, within Domino City limits where they didn't bury the sacred beasts, I feel like maybe not all of it could have been avoided, but a good amount of it could have been mitigated. Like, at that point... Do you think
the school is still there and they're still operating as a functioning educational facility?
I feel
Maybe, I
like
imagine.
depending on your definition of functioning, because given what they have to do to half the people who are attending that graduation, I don't think it's entirely functional, but it is probably still operating. Despite
True.
God's best efforts, as we can fucking see.
Yeah. If God can't
Parents are
stop
like,
them,
can you go to North Academy instead? Like, does it have to be this one?
Kaiba has to start making a waiver for any parents who want to send their kids to Duel Academy, and none of them read it. Like, legally, he has to put everything that has happened and every risk and just make them sign off that he's not financially or legally responsible for any horrors that may befall the kids. And none of the parents read it because they're just like, yeah, card game school, go ahead, Timmy.
Whatever.
I do enjoy that it's not that darkness comes down and says, I'm going to defeat you, Judai. It's that darkness comes down and says, this is inevitable. It's going to happen. And Judai says, I'm going to challenge you to a card game.
Yeah, and Darkness is... he looks at this child who is saying this and goes, okay, bet.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Eldritch horrors that choose to just willingly participate in human bullshit. Love that. What I love less is the way the zero and infinity traps work.
Yeah.
This was lost on me.
It's like... it's the fact that it's like pendulums, but for specifically this archetype in the back row, where like anything between them can be activated is...
Yeah.
a little goofy. I like
It's
the
one of
concept.
it's one of those times where they build cards and it's like we're playing a different game almost with
Yeah.
this specific set.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I do like conceptually the idea of entering a duel with, you know, like a final boss tier villain and them not explicitly explaining every mechanic of their active cards. Like actively withholding information. Because
Yeah.
eventually Yubel comes out and just goes, damn, cheap trick. You can look at your back row with Darkness Eye so you know that you can activate your shit, idiot.
And as soon as that's disrupted, he immediately misses instantly.
It's so good. Like, I dislike the fact that he can get all of this to consistently work, but the moment it is disrupted, the duel becomes so much more interesting.
Well, I just like that idea. I always like when it's like, I'm a god, and then you discover that they like don't actually have any kind of power
They
outside
become
of like,
complacent with their position at the top of the mountain.
They've never actively been challenged, so the moment they are, they start to crumble.
Exactly. I love it.
It's so good. Darkness Eye made me uncomfortable when, like, you know, because it's attached to a stalk. And then it just, like, does a full spin. And I don't know, something about that imagery just made me a little uncomfortable. Darkness Destroyer. Insane effect. Very neat card. I like his design. And within, what, was it a single turn? Judai's down to 500 life points.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, he
happens
gets
a lot,
rocked.
though.
He is in so much trouble.
I was honestly like pleasantly surprised with Night Shroud's deck as a whole, because like the theming of all of his cards, like the zero through infinity thing, is really cool. I wish they
Yeah.
had been a little bit more
Are these
creative
real
with the
cards?
cards. No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah,
I wish they had been like a little more creative with the naming on a couple of them, like Darkness 1, Darkness 2,
1.
Cowboys 1,
Cowboys 12.
Cowboy, Eddie.
Considering how much we've seen villains just look at Judai and go, something is wrong with you, why are my powers unable to affect you? I'm glad that now is when Yubel finally chooses to make their presence known and just go, you are so stupid, man. I've been here the whole time. You can rely on me, you know? And then Yubel chooses to just insult him by the same token and just go, Judai, you may be a meat-headed scatterbrain, but it's too soon for you to die. Fantastic. Their dynamic, I wish it was explored more in this season. And I get why it's not, but...
It would have been so nice to just have Yubel chime in on some stuff, but I get it. You want to keep this to the end. You want to fucking reveal their existence now.
I
goddamn.
don't know what that was.
Did someone drop a pipe, or am I going crazy?
No, I think that's what happened. Yeah.
One of Joey's cards.
Somebody at a Home Depot? What the fuck?
I wish we had like even just one episode where Judai, after the events of the past few seasons, just avoiding his friends and trying to, just mentally sort of deal with it, where he and Yubel had like some serious conversation and sit down. Because, considering they fused their souls together, I feel like a discussion on that would have been nice.
Something like that scene in Duel Monsters where Yugi and the Pharaoh in the bedroom,
Yes.
and Yugi's like, "I'll give you my memories."
Yeah, and just
Definitely remember
like
that part.
a little, just a little moment like that could have done a lot to elevate this. And then as I'm thinking about that, I come to the realization of, wait, has Yubel been a prick sitting in Judai's deck for the entirety of season 4? And then the answer's yes?
Well, wouldn't she be there?
I love the idea that Yubel's been in Jaden's deck this entire time, but not the other forms of Yubel, so we can't even use the good fucking effects.
Yeah, no, it's just base Yubel.
Yeah, that
because,
was really confusing for me.
That's
It's like,
Yeah, it's like Joey running an Insect Queen.
God.
Yeah.
I forgot he just adds it to his deck with no other cohesive cards.
I'm running Insect Queen and the Legendary Fisherman. These do nothing for your deck. Why are they here? Because they prove that I won the game.
Mine now.
I own
shiny.
45 cards.
He runs like 48 for no reason, and other people look at his
It's
deck
everything he owns.
I got an illegal flame swordsman that's a normal monster instead of a fusion.
I love the idea that Joey shows up to a locals with a 48 card deck, and his opponents go, "What is he cooking? I've never seen somebody with 48. And then Joey mentally is just like, red eyes.
Joey tries to play one card, gets Ash Blossomed, and just goes, "All right, good game. Have a nice one."
Oh, God. I do love Necroshade coming into play a bunch in this final batch, because Necroshade is good, and, you'd think that would be a relevant card more often in the scope of Judai's greater deck.
I was kind of hoping that we'd get, like, a Necroshade fusion, but oh well.
A Necroshade fusion could have been cool, but, considering what we do get, I don't mind that much.
Okay, but Shibuya, we could have gotten Darkbright.
We could have gotten Darkbright, and I do miss Darkbright, but, I think it's alright. So Night Shroud decides to, look at these two and just go, "That's cute. Anyway, I take control of your Yubel. Here's an eye. Have fun." And Yubel, like, actively struggling against it because they don't want to be the one to kill Judai, the literal other half of their soul.
Shibuya, you forgot that before this, Darkness, or in the process of this, Darkness literally rips Yubel out of Jaden's body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Kinda nuts. It's, like, even Neos is sitting on the field, because Yubel is being forced to attack, and Neos glows with energy, which I just, I read that as just being Neos trying to fight against it, which is incredibly fucked, but then, Judai has a counter play, and so it turns Yubel's attack into a direct attack, because Yubel has 0 attack. It's fine, and so he just blocks a punch, which is so cool.
They just do some dap, do some fist bumps. We're good.
Just like,
literally blocking.
Yeah, man, it's all good. I got this. Don't worry. Shoutouts to Darkness Slime.
Shoutouts to Darkness Slime. Shoutouts to Neos Wise Man.
absolutely shout-outs to Neos Wise Man. The super poly into Neos Wise Man being the culmination of everything from Season 3 is really strong.
Was so good, dude.
Yeah, when you were talking about when it's been used since then, I was just really excited for this moment where he uses it in a positive way.
I'm just sad that Darkness never saw Neos Wiseman and said, "Oh, a wise guy, huh?"
Oh,
Now
only.
you
If
know
only
if
they
this got
dubbed
dubbed.
this.
You know if
It
this was
would
a
have
dubbed
been
episode.
in there frame 1.
100%. Yeah, but you see, Edo Phoenix is the one who uses the guy cards. Like, Diamond Guy.
All the Destiny heroes just being guys.
It's so
fucking
funny.
dumb. Also, something I want to point out that I just adore about fucking Neos Wise Man, I'll put this in general.
Okay.
The official card art for it has Neos and Yubel in the
Oh, it
background doing
does!
the anime
Oh,
fade away
shit.
thing.
That is so cool. Hold on.
It's
I
such
gotta
a cool design. I
pull
love
that
it.
up. That's genuinely awesome. I'm also being told it's not a fusion card in the TCG.
No, it's a normal effect monster. It one second, let me grab its fucking effect here. It is just a like spellcaster effect. Can't be normal summoned or set. You have to special summon it by sending a face-up Neos and Yubel that you control to the graveyard, which is so bad.
That's really bad. What do you mean?
It can't be destroyed by card effects. At the end of the damage step, if it battles an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack that of the monster it battled, and you gain life points equal to its defense.
That art is so
like, it's
good.
Not the worst effect in the world. It's just they really fucking
The condition to summon it just
nerfed
sucks.
it.
Yeah. Man.
This could have just been a decent like specific comp. Like this could have been a decent future fusion target or something in a hero deck, but no,
Yeah.
God forbid now.
Neos Wise Man being the boss monster of like fusion decks would have been so good.
They did eventually come out with a fusion version of it, like 10 years later. Like Bridget says, that's Neos Kluger or Kulger, something like that. And it's cool.
Why
Love how they
Kluger?
like pulled out a bunch of different Neos versions right at the end.
Yeah.
They're all
really
Neos
cool.
fusion here, Neos fusion here.
Because
Oh, yeah.
Neos is Judai's ace monster. It's his 2500 beat stick.
Yeah.
That's his guy.
Where is the fucking like art page for this?
Darkness Slime becoming Neos and actively going against what Neos has stood for every time it's been in Judai's deck is very cool. And then Neos Wise Man just like destroying it and getting Judai back to 3K. Love that. So
Here we go.
good.
Yeah. They did eventually come out with a fusion variant called Neos Kluger, who you have to fusion summon it, and it's
What a funny name.
Yeah, why
Yeah, it's such
Kluger?
a
I'm still
weird-
sitting on this.
I don't know. Fucking I think
it's
I guess
Kluger.
I think Kluger is supposed to be
A
German, maybe?
What does it mean?
I wonder what it
I don't
means.
fucking know. I don't speak German. I'm gonna look it up. I look up Kluger and I get Toyota Highlander.
What?
Okay. So it's Neo's car. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, Kluger meaning
I think that's part of the roids.
the refined one or the clever one.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
So Neos refined. I love that.
Oh,
Really
because
good.
it's called Neos Wise Man. Oh.
Oh, come on. He got his bachelor's.
There you go.
That kind of rules.
But this puts him in a really good position now.
Yeah,
Dealing a decent amount of damage and then putting him above him in this one. I think it was like 3,000 to like 1,800 now.
yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah, he goes like straight back to 4K, and it's great. I love it so much. I love this kind of duel.
I'm a big fan of being able to turn the duel around with just, what is essentially the trading card version of, no, fuck you, Uno reverse. It's always great. And then he drops a fantastic line of, at the end of 177, where He just says, even if they're clumsy, those bonds that I believe in have more truth than your orderly nonsense. Essentially saying, fuck your darkness. Friendship, bitch.
Yeah,
My
and
bonds
darkness
have no
itself.
weaklings.
And darkness itself is offended by Judai in this moment. So good job, Judai, for offending the concept of darkness.
Let's go. All right, let's just also hit 178 since it is part of the same duel. I can do the ad read after 178. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
makes sense.
178.
Bro just
Whoa.
negated everything Judai just did to him in a single
Yep.
turn, which
He just said no.
yeah,
Nah.
Brings out his darkness seed, and I'm like, ew.
yeah.
Ugh.
So it's back and it's uglier and it's worse. Darkness Bramble is gross. It's just a bouquet of eyes.
Awful.
Yummy.
Huh?
What?
Don't
Sorry,
eat
I
the
was
ice.
muted.
I was wondering if I was the only person who heard that. Thank you.
Don't
bad.
eat the ice.
Please don't.
And Night Shroud casually mentions that his true identity is humanity's future,
That's right.
and
He's
shows
also
Jaden
Satan.
the future where it's an apocalyptic wasteland as the result of endless war and terrorism. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's
And
neat.
dual
Thanks,
monsters,
dude.
don't worry.
Maybe Paradox was right.
I was also just thinking, is Judai the
Yeah.
direct cause of Bonds Beyond Time then?
You have to keep on watching to find out. It's a funny one.
Oh man.
And we do see at the beginning of this episode, they recap sort of the fact that everybody is inside of darkness, this giant void that is within him. And it makes me think that Belowski is in there, and it's probably not that much of a change of scenery for him
Yeah.
or
God.
experience. He's probably
just
just in the
chilling
same
out, dude.
situation.
See, I feel like
Those of you in chat who have the Moki wins emote, you know what to do.
the problem is I feel like Belowski would never get mad at his deck, because he'd be like, oh, it's alright, little dude, we'll do better next time, you know.
Oh, so maybe it's just Judai and Belowski.
The problem is Belowski's napping in his bunker, so he just does not know anything is going on.
Turns out there is one other person on Earth. You'll never find them, but alright.
Humanity is saved on a technicality.
That's
Let's
good.
fucking go.
I do love seeing Dark Panther again. How long has it been? Like,
Bio's never seen him before. That's how long it's been.
oh god.
Who?
See?
Neospatian, Dark Panther, let's see.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
It's been a fair while, I think.
I'm gonna look it up in the anime. His last appearance before this, 160. That's sooner than I thought.
Oh, okay. That
I don't think I was here
Oh,
for
he
that
was in the duel
episode.
with the 5-headed dragon. Okay.
The what?
Stop.
Oh,
Hey,
already.
hey, that was
kidding.
that was the same duel where Honest Neo showed up the one time. That's awesome.
Who?
All right, we're just getting that.
I'm gonna kill this man.
Darkness Raincrow, I don't think it ever gets summoned, but the design on that card where he's just like, you know, a dude in a cloak with a cool scythe. I like cool designs of dudes in cloaks with scythes. I think that's awesome. Shoutouts to Marluxia Kingdom Hearts.
Good game, good game.
Now, if you had asked me, how is Judai going to come back from this? I would not have said he puts the field spell in face down. But the fact that that was the solution to the problem.
It's so
Thank
fucking
God the
funny.
rules allowed for only one field spell at a time, so we could do this cheese. This
Thank God.
glorious cheese.
It is so
We love
funny.
Old Master Rule.
I love this shit, dude.
It also just works because the way the Darkness Field spell works is if he activates it, he destroys everything on his fucking field anyway.
Yeah, so in order to pop it again, he would have to destroy the rest of his combo pieces, which puts him into a bind that he cannot get out of. So Darkness Neosphere.
The only card in Darkness's deck that is real, by the way.
Why is Neosphere the one that's real? Why is it the
Because
one
it's a
with
cool
eyes for
boss
tits?
monster.
Okay, but it the eye titties were already a lot, okay? And then it, like, having to turn its neck halfway around to reveal an eye on the back of its head. I'm enjoying the duel,
Okay,
and then I
but,
get
like-
jump scared by this thing.
Okay, but like, it's a cool Final Fantasy villain.
It does look like a cool Final Fantasy villain. I just, like, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in at once. And you'll notice that
Also,
this card art does not emphasize the thing on the back of its head.
Fun fact, this card got censored for the international release of it. That's the OCG art.
Yeah.
Every other art, they blinded the eye titty.
What, they just, like, put a dot on it?
I put it in general, yeah. They just blinded it.
What?
They
just
turned them into
closes.
like
Then it just
gems.
looks like exposed titties.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks worse.
The
Yeah,
Yeah,
censoring
you
is
say they
actually
censored it, but I
worse.
think what happened was they took the picture right as it blinked.
Yeah.
See, this isn't like Burstinatrix where they covered it up. This
No,
makes
no.
it more noticeable than
Yeah,
the
both look
original art.
weird.
So for reference, for the
I don't
people,
know. Those eyes look like
for the people
that's
viewing
pretty...
it at home, this is the OCG art, and this is what we got in the TCG. So I don't know about you. I feel like that's not really a fix at all, because that still like brings your eyes directly to the tits.
By the way,
I mean, like the
Shibuya,
eyes though are like eyes, like they're staring at you,
Yeah.
so it catches your eye. So
By
I
the
feel
way,
like
Shibuya,
both either just gonna suck.
sorry. I'm gonna hit you with the real funny shit here. This card came out. It has only been in one set, quote unquote set in English. And
Oh no.
guess what?
Yeah.
It's a promo card, bitch, for specifically Shonen Jump Volume 11. Or Volume 7,
Really?
Issue 11.
The one where Naruto's looking down on you and going, pathetic!
I think I saw this issue of
It was
Shonen
the
Jump.
conclusion to the Naruto versus Pain.
I feel like I saw this issue of Shonen Jump at my local Publix. This was like a couple months before I started buying them. What do you mean I could have owned this promo card?
This was also
they always
midway
hide-
through
they
the
always
Yu-Gi-Oh!
make
R
gold in
manga.
I'm sorry, Shorah. You neglected to bring up the funniest part of this, which
Oh my
is I'm gonna
God.
see if the WebP will load in. It does. We're gonna crop this. Forget everything else. Mondo Hueco Mundo. Yeah, because I
Yeah, that
picked
is the most important part.
I picked up Shonen Jump specifically in the middle of Hueco Mundo. This was a couple months before I started buying them. Oh my god. That's insane. That's so funny.
I'm terrified, actually. I gotta go look this up now. Fucking Darkness Neosphere Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's go. How many printings have there been? It was printed in Turbo Pack Booster 5 and the Shonen Jump Move magazine promo. It's currently worth 80 cents. Let's go.
A whole 80 cents.
80 cents for a
whole
promo.
80
That's fine.
cents for a card
Whenever
that
I
has
think
only
about
been
those,
printed
like-
twice.
Those like collectability things, I'm always like, man, I had Earthbound for Super Nintendo. And then I gave it to a friend and they never gave it back.
I get that.
Right.
Trust no one.
Trying to see what else. Oh, yeah. Very, very, very cool moment. And a good bit of character development from Yubel. When they tell Judai, go ahead and banish me to bring Neos back. You have to finish this and you're strong enough. You can do it.
You'll be alone, but it'll be okay.
It's so good. I love when things come full circle and you get good payoffs. And I think basically all of GX Season 4 is just payoff for the entire rest of the show.
Yeah.
It's something
Since
that
we're-
Duel Monsters didn't do, which was very frustrating because it just sort of pays off one aspect of the show and doesn't really give you satisfying closure that this does in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It very much feels like a response to a lot of original Yu-Gi-Oh! In that sense, because this is because of the nature of this taking place in a school. It does a lot for your attachment to these characters, because yes, in Yu-Gi-Oh! they're all kids who go to school, but like it's constantly high stakes, and you don't really get moments of downtime with them. So it makes a lot of the graduation stuff of Series 4 of GX just hit harder, because you've seen these kids in the middle of apocalyptic scenarios, and you've seen them just go insane, but you've also just seen them fuck around and participate in like Halloween costume contests, and you've seen them worrying about exams and, you know, having crushes and shit.
Yeah, like figuring stuff out. How do they talk to a girl? There's, you know, meeting new teachers and stripping naked and abandoning the school in a random episode where you didn't even duel.
Getting married to your tiger wife.
So Shibuya, something I want to just make a note of. Something I said so early on in the fucking GX, the start of the GX podcast. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is just the Kingdom Hearts of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm pretty sure you can't deny it at all at this point. Now that we have Jaden calling out to his friends stuck in darkness to reawaken the light within them.
Yeah, you know, ever since the Sartorius nonsense, I feel like I've been on board with this. But it's really, really apparent when you have that moment of just like, you know, literal power of friendship.
The extra funny thing is, the very end of this, the like last fucking scene with Jaden that we get, is also similar to Kingdom Hearts 1's ending, with them just walking off into the sunset in that grassy field.
A little bit, but like...
Jaden has two partners. He has his magic man, and he has an animal.
I would compare the end of GX to a different show, and we will get there. I was discussing this earlier.
Another Kamen Rider.
We'll get to it, Bio. Don't you worry. We'll get to it. I'm not spoiling what I'm going to say yet.
We got 3 more hours left, Bio. Get strapped in.
We are on hour 2 officially of the recording.
My son might come join us then.
Aw.
So Jaden goes through and remembers his time, like talks about all the stuff he's done and how he's not proud of things. He's no stranger to darkness, and he uses those feelings and everything that he's learned to culminate with him actually waking his friends up in the middle of this darkness, which is great.
Yeah, Jaden's unwavering faith and belief in his deck, and his optimism that others feel the same way, where like so long as you have faith in your cards, you'll never be alone, is really good.
All of his friends get to hold up their most iconic card, you know, Ojama Yellow, Power Bond, Double Passe.
Yeah. It's also just really good because, you know, I've been doing nothing but singing Precious Time Glory Days as praises the entirety of Millennium GX, but it comes to a head when you realize they all have some of their most iconic monsters in that OP. And then you get this moment of having faith in your cards and trusting your deck.
Yep.
It's just so good.
And then everyone escapes from the world of darkness, and then, you know, fucking imagine being that one student who's like, I was just taking a walk out here. Why is Satan on the fucking
He's like, what is going on? Is that Satan?
Is that the Grim Reaper?
You know, back at class, they never taught us this.
I mean, listen, some things you gotta learn, hit or miss.
They're like, we have a strict no religion policy in Duel Academy, so I don't know what this guy is.
Professor Cronus and Medici just popping out of the building like, what's going on? Oh, Mars Capone.
He's like, oh no, is that Beetlejuice?
Lucifer Nanone. I didn't expect Alexis to have one of the best moments of these three, but her, like, in her fantasy of being a teacher at Duel Academy, her nightmare realm, so to speak, looking out at these kids and just going, if you think being at the bottom of the class is a reason to give up, let me tell you about a student called Yuki Judai. I was getting emotional.
Worst student we ever had. To be frank, it's a miracle he passed any of his classes at all. by 1 point. Every single one of them.
It is exclusively because he has the bias of saving the world multiple times, and so the teachers kept giving him extra credit till he got it right.
And you may say that's unrealistic. Then you remember every person who was good at sports in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like, all right, we'll just let you have this. We need
I
some
used to
W's.
have this creepy teacher at my college, and he would. I distinctly remember one day I had a B in his class, and I wanted to like just get some extra credit for an A.
Just
And I
open a
walked up to
window.
him.
Sorry.
And I distinctly remember I was like, I can do extra credit, like I'll do whatever you need. And he was like, no, I don't give extra credit. And as I'm walking away, this girl walked up and she's like, I really need to like pass this class. He's like, oh sure, yeah, of course, we'll work and help you like figure out how you can do this. And I was like, what the fuck?
We're not going
I-
to dive deeper into that because there are some thoughts I have about that.
I love the mental image of Jaden going up to Kronos de Medici and just being like, "Hey, professor, is there any chance you can like round up my grade?" Jaden, I can't round up a 10 to a 50.
He's like, I'll round it down.
God.
I think Judah is just like, I'll duel you for it. If I win, I get an A in the class.
I mean, that is
That's
how
not
most
fair. You
problems
can't
are
do this
solved
to
at
me.
Duel Academy.
How it goes.
But you look at a moment like this, and this is peak Yu-Gi-Oh! Like as far as I'm concerned, because and I think comparing it to Duel Monsters, I think it's definitely succeeding where Duel Monsters failed, because it is always about friendship, but this is a show that has actually gone out of his way to explore the friendships that Judai has, and actually has created not just one or two characters that have stayed with you. There's like a dozen characters that this show reminds you exists, and you remember them. You don't just go like, "Who? Oh, right." So I think that's to the show's credit, is it really did earn this moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, it did. So, speaking of great moments,
Yeah, so
Holly coming in clutch again with fucking Divine Neos.
Divine Neos is insane. I did not expect this. It's for me, it's the fact that this card can only be summoned with the card Future Vision, or as it's known, I think the Japanese name, Hope for the Future.
Yup.
Against the creature that is said to be humanity's inevitable fate. I love when subtext is for cowards. I love when it's just the text and they wave it in your face.
We're going to deliver the message to you.
Yes.
Point blank.
Yes, we are going to punch you in the face with the themes of our show, and you're going to enjoy it because it is peak fiction. And Divine Neos, of course, being the most overpowered thing that Judai could ever have in his deck, and of course probably not being real, or if it's real, being incredibly nerfed, having every single Neospacian's individual effects applied to it.
I was popping off here. I'm like, oh, I forgot it has that. I wonder what like ability he's going to use. And he's like, oh, really, only Flare Scarab's the only one I need. Let's just go for this. I
Yo,
just
imagine if
laughed.
he
I'm like,
just-
it's got the ability of like 6 of these things. I just need the one.
Imagine if he had bad manners this shit and just used all of them like, alright, now I'm gonna use Air Hummingbird's ability to gain
Oh,
life
no.
points.
Divine Neos suck. Oh god. What kills me is that Divine Neos's base attack is weaker than Rainbow Neos's base attack, which implies to me that gay love truly really is the strongest power in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe,
course
even
it is,
greater
yeah.
than
Yeah.
God.
Hey, Shibuya, it gets extra funny. The anime version of it has 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. The real life card is a 2,500, 2,500.
That sucks. I get that it's because every protagonist boss monster is 2,500, but what do you mean? He could have
I mean,
had
it does
3K
fucking.
defense.
It does still gain 500 attack. whenever you banish a Neospatian or Hero monster from your grave once per turn. God, what a fucking rough card.
It's so sad whenever they butcher these cards in the TCG for the sake of balance, because I get it. But I feel like iconic monsters should be bosses of a deck, and you've made them so that they physically can't be good bosses in a deck.
Yeah, it is pretty frustrating, honestly.
Even so, Divine Neos is able to kill Nitrad for good, save all of humanity. Everybody is fine. It's all good. And we still have 2 episodes left. Which, knowing what they are makes it exciting. But at the same time, it's hard because you don't... I'm watching these and I'm like, I'm hyped for what's coming, but it's going to be hard to say goodbye.
Yeah, I get that.
But we can worry about that later, because for now, it is time for our ad reads. That's right, baby.
Almost 3 hours in.
I'm sorry,
shit.
almost 3 hours
Two and
into
a
the
half?
stream, but the actual recording of it is only 2 hours 15 minutes. So
That doesn't matter to me.
we're gonna try to keep it snappy. We're gonna try to move quick because it's gonna be a lot. So, as usual, we do have a Twitter for the podcast, twitter.com/millenniummike. Over there, we put all of the edits for the episode. If you want to retweet this Dark Universe photo, you can once the episode is over. We'll sometimes post memes and jokes like the Go My Flare Scarab. We'll announce when we're going live. We'll announce when there's breaks in the podcast. There's going to be a special thing happening between GX and 5Ds, so please look forward to that. And you can get all the information for that on Twitter, so go follow us. I'm not calling it X. No. Not happening.
No one asked you.
Until the link to Twitter breaks, it's still Twitter to me. On top of that, we also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/MillenniumMike. You go over there for as little as $5 a month. You get access to our movie commentary tracks for both Pyramid of Light and Dark Side of Dimensions. And with us starting 5Ds, soon Bonds Beyond Time is going to be part of that list as well. You get access to past stream VODs for things that are Millennium Mike related. So like me building the Millennium Puzzle model kit, us playing some stuff, some Yu-Gi-Oh! Teaching streams, anything that falls under the MilMike name goes over there once it's gone from Twitch. And at certain tiers of being a patron, certain tiers of Patreon, you can get certain extra benefits, like our Blue Eyes White Dragons, our $25 tier, who get their names on screen and in the description of every single episode. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. Thank you so much to our Blue Eyes White Dragons. And not only that, but we have other tiers as well, like our Forbidden Ones, which unfortunately is an empty tier at the moment, and our God Cards. So the God Cards tier was being a little funky last time, and I had somebody ask me about it. Because of the limited slots, it was giving an error where it said it was full, even though it wasn't. So I have opened it up. We now have the potential for more than 3 God Cards. So thank you so much to our current God Cards, Tbone, and ShinyMew.
Thank you.
We appreciate the support.
If you want
a
to become
lot.
a sacred beast.
Now I can add the Sacred Beasts, and I can add other such monsters. I think what I'll do is, if we end up having multiple of them, like in batches of 3, I'll go ahead and I'll just do multiple images. So it'll always be the Divine Beasts of a season. Limited to 3 because I don't know how many are in 5Ds, but I know what the archetype is called, so
a few.
we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. It's fine. It's fine. Now, please remember that you do not have to support us on Patreon if you are not financially stable. Please make sure that you can put food on the table. Please make sure that you have, a roof over your head. Please make sure that you have power and water and all that. And then, If you want to throw $5 at us for the benefits, go ahead. But word of mouth does a lot for podcasts. Sharing it with people you think might enjoy it does a lot for podcasts. So if you're ever in doubt, and if you ever feel bad because you can't support us, there's ways you can do that for free. Please do not worry about it. During the break between GX and 5Ds, we are going to be doing a lot of recording for our side content, so hopefully by the time 5Ds starts airing, we will have a backlog of those so we can start pumping them out a little more regularly again. I do apologize for the break in Deck March and Master Saga. It's a lot.
It's been happening.
A lot's been happening. Things sure do
Life.
continue to happen in life. But I'm gonna try to do better on that. And God willing, we'll be able to put out stuff regularly again, as more bonuses for Patreon. Now, Shorah, I do hear you have a podcast to promote that is, kind of a sister podcast.
Yeah, that's right. For those of you who happen to be fans of Mega Man Battle Network,
You good?
I'm fine.
myself, Yuki EXE, and Double Soul have been going through the Mega Man Battle Network, the anime, NT Warrior. We're currently on its second proper season, Access, and it's been a great podcast. We're already planning out like future content. We might want to go through Digimon afterward, and we might want to go through some dot hack stuff. BioRoxas has never been on this podcast, is not affiliated with this podcast in any way.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, it's super weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know
hey,
why
it's
you
in
keep
my
mentioning
script.
this.
Yeah. It's trying to get you more mid rolls, I think, for the YouTube.
Although, I mean, if you're looking for guests, I can join for sure.
Who are you? So yeah, go check that out. We stream over on Yuki's channel, twitch.tv/YukiEXE. It's a real fun time.
Yeah, and Martin, as our guest, if there's anything you'd like to go ahead and promote, you have the floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find me on YouTube if you look up LittleKuriboh. I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but episode 86 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is in the final round of editing, so to speak.
Ooh.
So
hell yeah.
in the next month or so, I'd like to say it's coming out. I was hoping to get it out January, but I don't think it's going to happen. But yes, we mentioned it earlier, the episode where Joey just starts randomly rolling all his luck-based monsters
no,
and
it is
spells and
that
everything.
I'm a couple episodes behind on your show. I
God.
did not know I existed.
I
That
cannot
exact
believe-
plot point. Oh boy!
I love stumbling into cohesion within our bits. It's very funny when it happens.
I knew he was in the KC Grand Prix or whatever,
Yes.
but I forgot where that happens in that.
Yeah, about halfway through.
That really should not have been Joey's last duel in Duel Monsters. I'm still a little bitter about that.
It's kind of shocking.
Mm.
Like, he doesn't go out like a badass. He goes out because he was out of his league, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also do Twitch streams on occasion.
I do. Yeah, you can follow me on twitch.tv/LittleKuriboh versus. So LittleKuriboh with VS at the end as well. I couldn't find LittleKuriboh, unfortunately, but that's what I ended up
That's a
getting.
shame.
Thank you.
People
for the
love
shout-out.
sniping usernames
problem.
on every new website that pops up.
Yeah.
They do. I try
Yeah.
when a new platform comes out to jump on and just call
Yeah.
dibs on it, but
It is
difficult
difficult to
sometimes.
do it all the time.
Hmm.
It's unfortunate. All right.
People would pretend to be you on those sites. Say great.
Hey. If you guys like Yu-Gi-Oh, check out my progression series. D-Ships going to be entering the Exceed era soon.
You're that far in
Exciting.
already?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I heard they bulk recorded.
Yeah, we did a lot of episodes that I lost.
Oh
I
no!
was gonna make a joke of how bad are you doing, but thank you for answering the question.
Bridget in chat. Hey Carl,
Oh, I
we're
thought
doing
you meant-
Master Saga again soon.
Yeah, I was gonna do it this week,
Lost
but I kind of wanted to
footage.
stagger it with the Mill Mic recordings.
That's fair. And hey, with us taking a break to figure out how the fuck we schedule a show where the dub skips over big chunks, you will have plenty of time to just do those.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All
Saga,
right,
when are we doing Shibuya? When are we doing Saga again?
Carl.
Stop doing this bit.
I just said, well, no mic is on break. We can batch record things because there will be fewer obstacles in my path to living.
Let's go.
I don't know. Carl's always been an obstacle for you.
I've
In terms
been
of
nothing but an
dueling,
ally.
yes, because
He's
he
really
pulled...
like that Snorlax you gotta use the Poke Flute on.
Yeah, I just need to use, the ocean, and then I need to take his train cards from the simulator and throw them in the ocean.
No!
Then I have a chance of winning.
Oh, fuck my train.
All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to promote before I cut us to the dipships ad?
Oh, I finished my script on the Psychology of Cloud, so that'll be coming out before Rebirth.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Getting that in at the height of,
I'm working
more
with
FF7 anticipation and stuff.
if anyone knows 7 content creators, Schrodinger, Baby Seal, and Sleep Easy, 2 of like the
Oh, you're working with
the
them? Hell yeah.
lore masters are helping me out, so
That's awesome.
it's gonna be
It
good.
really kills me whenever you get to say, been working with Schrodinger's Baby Seal. High profile.
Sometimes they just snatch up a username that is so good.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Love it.
All right. I'm going to cut us to the dipships ad. I'll see you guys in, I don't know, like a minute and a half. I don't know how long it is off the top.
Do you enjoy boating? How about listening to some friends tell a few stories and talk about their weeks? Then I've got just the podcast for you. Dipships, the legitimate boating podcast. Every week, Carl, PM, Medi, and Nick get together and tell their favorite stories and recap what's been going on in their lives and talk about boating too, I guess. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Podbean. And we'll see you on the Nautical Mile.
Oh, welcome back.
I was trying to get that in before you unmuted. That didn't come through, right?
That's awesome.
Hooch.
Did that come through?
Yeah, that's just a dog barking, and I don't know what outside. I would assume it's just a stray from the neighborhood
The
running
world.
around.
Darkness.
No, darkness is defeated. There's
Darkness.
no more darkness to bark at. We did it, everyone. We saved the
Darkness
city.
will
You see a
return.
Mr. T rolling up in your neighborhood.
If I saw Mr. T in my neighborhood, I would go get my metal keyblade that I own, and I would square up. I'm not trusting that guy where I live.
How many times do you think Jaden would have said, "I pity the fool" in the dub? if he
Oh!
did this bit?
At least twice. I
At
can't
least
speak
twice.
to any more of that.
You
but-
you know it'd be Sean Schimmel coming in to do that for
Oh, of
Mr.
course
T, and I
Schimmel
would not
would've been
survive.
T.
I would not live through the fact that this is the foot soldier of the main villain
Yeah.
at the end of GX.
It is so unfortunate that we couldn't get you in sooner, because we had a running bit, just the Schemmel counter. So we would track how many different characters Sean Schemmel would play in a given batch of episodes we watched. There were times
Hilarious.
it got as high as 7.
Wow.
He's
He
talking
was-
to himself. It's real bad out
There are
here.
points where he's hard carrying the dub of GX. It's insane.
Very talented man.
Genuinely,
Yeah.
yes. It is a miracle that they got him on for GX, and I thank them, because some of those voices will stick with me. Anyway,
Was he not working in New York at the time?
I mean, he must have been, because 4Kids was based in New York.
Right. Sorry, when you said he's lucky, what they were lucky to get him, you just mean because he's so good.
Well, because at that point he was already well established with Dragon Ball, so he's
Yeah, it was
like
established.
a
I hadn't
very
even
big
really
name.
thought about locations. I assumed
Wait,
he would
what's-
only do like Funimation related
What does he
projects.
voice in
and
Dragon
stuff.
Ball?
That's Goku.
Really?
Sean Schimmel is Goku.
Yeah, so Crowler, Ojama Yellow, and various other characters. That's just Goku doing a funny voice.
Yeah, I think You know what's insane? I think the character where you can hear the Goku voice slip out the most is the guy from, like, when Zane is doing the duels and the shot callers, when the guy's just going, my mommy says I'm really strong. That is the closest to the Goku voice I think he gets in GX.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I like, we are like 2 episodes in this show away from being out. We almost didn't get Bio's realization.
Oh my God.
I always like heard you guys talking about it. And I was like, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. You're like, that's cool. I will not inquire further.
Let me bail you
Did you
out.
know that he's also the voice of the Lucario from Smash Brothers Ultimate?
Really?
Yeah, he
Oh,
is
shit.
Lucario in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew
Huh.
in that Pokemon movie. It is very funny when you realize.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Lucario uses aura. It's a lot like Key if you think about it.
Yep.
All right.
Here we are. The final 2.
The final 2, the final duel, no less.
Yep.
Oh, episode 179. So, it's never been more over for Banner. Pharaoh keeps eating his soul with reckless abandon. This bit will never end. He will be stuck on Earth for the rest of time with a cat continuously just, you know, doing this to him.
I don't know. I think Pharaoh's got another like 15 years at best. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe less.
I feel like the effects of consuming a soul would probably give you longevity.
I would hope, honestly.
Doesn't seem like it has a lot of texture. Like an empty bite.
It has no texture, however. You know, it's
pure
got the
energy.
metaphysical properties.
It's pure energy. It's like when you brew coffee with a 5-hour energy.
Oh God.
What? Don't do that.
I'm sorry. As someone who has heart failure in the family, I haven't tried that one yet. Give me a sec.
Valid.
Jesus.
I
Can you,
forgot to
why
say-
can you do that? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, in
Oh,
theory,
no,
you could,
it's
but it might kill
unimportant.
you.
Go ahead.
Neither is mine. I forgot to say that with the eclipse hanging over Jaden the whole time, and with it being sort of the visual representation of a void containing all of friendship, would you say that that was the literal embodiment of a total eclipse of the heart?
Yes.
God.
Yes, I would.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So this tournament that we've been running this entire season, I bet you forgot about it because everybody was dying and being sent to the void like it's Final Fantasy V. So
Spoilers.
we get the results of these graduation duels, and Crowler starts bawling because he doesn't want to give them. He doesn't want to say goodbye. We went over this, and he's still struggling against
Okay, I was like, this feels nostalgic.
Yeah.
If they said Crowler would never be ballin'.
You know what? You're right. I never said that.
It's a sad moment, all right? This is a wonderful graduating class.
Now imagine Goku crying.
Yes. Very, very happy that we get, you know, a big moment for all of our, like, major side characters who are left here. And the fact that it's a 3-way tie for first place in this is very sweet. But then Shepard goes, wait, I only have one replica of Yugi's deck. Shit, I'm finished. And then all of them just go, no, we don't want it. We're good. We have faith in our own decks.
Also, his
Should have
deck wouldn't
based
work in
it on
modern meta.
GPAs.
Yeah.
That is
his deck
also
kinda
true.
dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the King of Games' deck in the era of the King of Games. Like,
Imagine Chaz just like fucking pulling Celtic Guardian first turn and being like, "What the fuck do I do with this?"
oh God.
I like when they pan to the class and they show, what's his name, Dimitri? The guy who stole Yugi's deck
Yes.
is just still in class,
Yeah.
and they're like, he hasn't
Yeah,
been
he's still
on
there.
screen for 150 episodes.
Yeah.
That you know of, he was impersonating other people in all the
Oh
other.
shit.
Shit, you're
damn
right.
it!
God.
He is he's the Humpty Dumpty from the Puss in Boots movies of this series.
The
I was
perfect
always
allegory.
there.
That is
No,
can
that
you
was
die?
literally Fujiwara! Fujiwara was inserting himself into everybody's memories.
Yeah,
Shit, you're
Dimitri's
right.
just an idiot.
How
Correct.
dare you reference the first Puss in Boots movie?
No, to be fair, he is referencing the best part of the first Puss in Boots movie. The
I know,
only
it's
good
horrible.
enduring bit. So once Chaz, Cyrus, and Alexis are just like, nah, we don't want the deck. We're happy with what we got. We're good. They call Kenzan up to give a speech, and he's like really nervous and stumbling over his words, which is very sweet. And Prowler got kicked out because he wanted the graduation to stop and he didn't want to say goodbye. And then Kenzan gets kicked out because he also doesn't want the graduation to go on and doesn't want to say goodbye. And I
Such
was
a
like,
good gag.
how many people will be banned from this high school graduation? This is a lot.
I haven't seen this many Yu-Gi-Oh! GX characters dragged since one of my videos.
Oh,
It's so funny because very explicitly, Atticus is Alexis's older brother, and because of the time he spent in limbo, they are in the same graduating class now.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Wonder what that feels like.
It's got to be weird, but like, you know, at least they're there to support each other, I guess.
At least he passed.
Also true, considering how much school he missed.
Man, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear the arguments they have though. Because she always has that. She always has that one ready to go.
Oh, jeez. It's seeing everybody get their diplomas is very sweet, and the after party. Despite how weird it is that Atticus and Alexis are like doing the prince and princess shtick.
And Manjome is like, nice.
Yeah, Manjome is like, nice one, Teach. Let's go.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
because
that's his
it's his
sister.
love senpai.
Stop that.
He's imprinting right now. He isn't thinking
No.
about that aspect.
No.
He's imagining himself in the scenario.
The problem is when you say the word imprinting, that's been ruined for me by Twilight. So now I'm
Twilight,
thinking of
yeah.
a whole different scenario
You
that I don't
see,
want to
I
What?
try not to think about that because I didn't go there. All right.
That's fair.
Think about the Maze Runner, some other young adult book.
Does Maze Runner use imprinting? I don't remember that
hope
shit.
No, I was thinking about a young adult movie book.
Okay,
On the
God.
maze.
you know what? Hit young adult movie book. Fucking, I don't know, Beastly. Beastly is a funny movie. Go watch Beastly if you want to laugh.
Do you guys know Legend of Zelda live action movies being directed by the Maze Runner person?
That's the
Really?
only reason
Oh.
that it stays in my
Ah.
mind.
That's
It's
I
true.
forgot that was.
that genuinely has
Yeah.
potential.
I'm going to force some friends to have to see every Maze Runner movie, being like, you have to see the directorial vision.
Play the Zelda music over the movie and be like,
Oh my
imagine.
god! Anytime they're in the maze, you play the theme of the Oh god, what are they called? The Guardians from Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah,
You just hear the music going off as they're
sinister
booking it.
piano.
Yes.
Wait, is he a bad director?
No, it's
No,
just
because
that
that's the last thing you did. No one has seen those movies.
he's not
Yeah,
a
never seen it.
prolific director, and that's like the frame of reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that first movie a while ago, but it was like when I was recovering from my first dose of the vaccine, so I was a little out of it. I remember it being fine, but I liked those books,
You
so I'm
yourself
biased.
also trapped in a maze.
Yes. Everybody graduates. Everybody's at this after party. They're having a good time. They're having food. Johan and O'Brien are here. And everybody
I always
goes,
think there's
you go to
Johan.
different schools. Why are you here? And then they drop
We
the
don't
most
graduate
real
till later,
line.
don't worry.
It's just like, yeah, our graduation's later, so we stopped by. And I
They're
know people
different,
who
and
did
we're
that.
making sure nothing bad happens during yours.
I know people who did that, where it was like, yeah, our school doesn't graduate for another week, so like we're just gonna hang out here and party. Very real of them. Very funny.
And then Fujiwara shows up and tries to do a Sasuke with the sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry I did all of that. It's like, it's okay,
Sorry, I
we forgive you,
tried
but
to
you
kill
will have
you.
to spend some time in jail. At least like 5 years.
Well, no, because
And he's like, oh, is Kagamaru in jail? They're like, oh, wait,
No.
never mind, you're good.
Well, no. Atticus drops the line of, I forget the specific wording, but it's something like, Duel Academy accepts a duelist's highs and their lows. Because Atticus was also fucked up and evil, but it's like, okay, but he's
yeah,
the
it's
reason
like
you
their
were fucked up and
achievements
evil.
and their mishaps.
So-
yeah.
So, Martin, I have to ask you this question since you
Sure.
put the Sasuke panel in here.
Sure.
Are you saying that Fujiwara was just going through a bout of Uchiha madness.
You could certainly
bit.
put it that way. Is that a thing?
Because that was a real thing in the manga. They fucking the Uchiha clan canonically go psychotic,
no.
apparently.
Oh, okay. Speaking of
Like-
anime characters needing therapy.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, like I remember it was a stupid fucking plot line where they were
Wow.
like, yeah, no, all like Uchiha members just they tend to go into psychosis.
It
Madara
even
went psychotic.
sounds like reefer madness, so it sounds like something drummed up by the government to blame them.
I'm gonna be Martin, you're correct. Given the sheer amount of things in there that are attributed to, the racist government at the top of the Leaf Village.
Yeah, the second Hokage especially, I'm remembering, he literally looked at Sasuke when he was revived and he was like, you. One of you.
Another one.
I know what you are.
Yes! Literally, he does that to
The audio
Sasuke!
clip.
The first thing that happens
know
after he's
what you
revived, and
are.
he's like, I know what you are, freak.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a little wild.
Naruto's really good though.
Naruto, I think, is really good despite some of its flaws.
And Boruto. People give Boruto shit. It's good.
I tried 10 episodes of Boruto, my man. I couldn't
You
do
just gotta
it.
watch the first 150.
No.
Okay.
No. What I-
Spoken like a true Naruto
You don't
fan.
have to talk about flaws or accept shit. You can just like shit.
Now,
We can live free.
what I would recommend people do
Exactly.
is watch Boruto the movie, which is just covering their tuning exams. And if you like that and you don't want to do the rest of it, I think that's as good a stopping point as any. It gives you a taste of the really good shit, and then you don't have to commit to a long-running show.
Here's my recommendation as someone who won't go through it.
I gave Boruto 10 episodes, my man. I did try.
That's like when I'm like, all right, I read a couple chapters of the book. Here's my strategy and review for this book. Here's your tap out.
So, Atticus has dressed up fucking God, what's her name again? God damn it,
Alexis.
Alexis, that's it. Yeah, Alexis in a fucking dress. That's kind of cute, I guess. By the way, Sartorius, his sister, and Kagemaru are all at this fucking place.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in that they just let these guys back in here, and
They just let the fucking criminals in the building.
despite Sartorius disappearing and seemingly dying during that episode,
Yeah.
he wasn't. He didn't die. Where did he go? What happened?
You got absorbed into the
Just-
darkness thing, and the darkness thing got fixed, so everyone's good now.
Chancellor Shepard really was just like, oh, it's fine. You can let racist old grandpa in the building. Kagemaru can't do anything. He's stuck in a wheelchair
He's
now.
like president of Duel Academy. He's sending out pardons.
And while everybody's enjoying this nice graduation party, Judai is pulling a Judai, not being there, and packing up his shit so that he can just go in the middle of the night before anybody has a chance to miss him. It's a little bit upsetting, but you know, given his behavior in season 4, this is entirely in character.
Yeah.
And I do like Banner calling him out on it. And just being like, huh, you're leaving now? And it's very interesting, but then I'm trying to
But
get...
then the Oomphy's like, hey, I gotta show you something.
Yeah,
Winged Kuriboh.
Winged Kuriboh appears again and just goes, hey,
Fan
listen.
service detector.
Wing
He's just like, your people need you, Judai, come on.
Kuriboh is just out here like, okay, but Jaden, what if you stole Yuki's deck? It's just there, right
Yeah.
for the taking.
See,
Do it.
what I thought was going to happen was because all 3 of the people who won the tournament dropped out of the running for the final prize, that Chancellor Shepard would appear in his dorm and just be like, Judai, they nominated you to receive the deck. Come and get your prize. But no, instead it is Winged Kuriboh drags him to the vault where Yugi's replica deck is guarded, and then Yugi is also here! Yugi showed up to the
Yugi.
school!
And he's buff.
We can't see his face for some reason.
Yeah, it's a very weird choice to obscure his eyes for the whole thing.
It's
They
because they
couldn't
don't want to
figure out
confirm
if
whether
they wanted
it's...
him to grow into the rectangles or not.
And my other question is, why couldn't Yugi just come to the graduation and be like, "Hey, I've got something to talk to you about later"? Why did it have to be, "I'm hiding in the shadows waiting for you"?
Well,
Yeah,
first
see,
off,
it's
go
It's
ahead.
like a
partially
hidden
because
camera
when
show. It's
Kuriboh
like
is
he's on
now a
bunk.
crux point. Sorry, go ahead.
Huh?
Oh, you see, when Kuriboh is now a crux point in the timeline.
Oh, right.
Wing Kuriboh's a fixed event. Personally, I think it's partly because Yugi learned how to be a drama queen from the Pharaoh,
Oh,
and he just
absolutely.
fully has embraced it over the years. And I think part of it is also just, this is the king of games. If he goes into any public space, he will never get to do what he wants to do because he will be swarmed by everybody who is present.
Yeah, that is also fair.
So now that we're here and Yugi has appeared, I don't know how what the general reaction was to these episodes when they came out. I assume fans were mostly excited, but in retrospect and now having watched it all, do you guys think it's a good decision to spend the last episode and a half of the show just having Yugi duel with Jaden?
I like it thematically because it gives Jaden that final little push here. Like the next duel shows, the entire theme of it is like less about the duel itself and more about Jaden reclaiming his ability to enjoy himself, to be
Right.
the carefree, free-spirited like kid he was when he started off. Because he's been through a lot of hell in this series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This entire final season, he kind of just wanders around. He just kind of fishes, doesn't interact with his friends to where they can't even get into contact with him a lot. So I do think it's good in that way, but I've never really enjoyed the fact that he kind of like just leaves his friends without really any
Right.
notice. Even
That's-
if
that
they
I-
know, even
that I
if
agree
they
with.
are
Why
shown
couldn't
to
they
have
be
known
here?
this was going to happen.
Why
Yeah.
couldn't they be around to watch this happen?
Yeah.
Well, you see, it's
I
because
would have really
Kuriboh
liked
had
if
to
just
take him
some of
back
his
in
close
time.
friends were around him during the match.
Or even, I don't know. I personally, and I don't think that this is a huge flaw, but
Mhm.
it's sort of strange to have half an episode about everybody else and then an episode and a half with Yugi being like, "Hey, remember me?"
Yeah, I totally get that in terms of you're at the end of a series that is not the original, and a good chunk of it is, look, we're gonna like pander a bit to the original.
But it
Kinda
is
thing.
very anime. I just personally, the only thing I would question about it is the placement of it right at the end. I think they could have done this and then had closure for everything else.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah.
and had Jaden say goodbye. But because it happens this way, it almost feels like it's not a trick in a deceptive kind of way, but it feels like we don't have an ending for everybody, but we have this ending.
Yeah, I would have loved like if there was a 181 or something, perhaps, or something that just fully wraps things up. So this isn't the last word on the show.
Because it is
almost.
left a little vague what is even really going on with Jaden at the end.
It's
Mhm.
it's tricky because I do like the idea that the I'm trying to get my thoughts together on this because
Sure. It's a big thing. Like it's the ending of the show. I'm hesitant to call it shoehorning in Yugi from a different show altogether. Obviously, he's been foreshadowed, but it is kind of out of the blue. But it also works. It works very well. Like I want to stress that this isn't necessarily like me criticizing what they did. I'm just wondering about the general sentiment about it.
I thought
Yeah,
like
it's
if they
an
won
interesting
some
subject.
tournament, don't they get Yugi's deck? So I thought it was like you get to fight him. Or am I stupid?
I mean,
No, they were just
that's how
gonna
it's
they were just gonna
presented.
give a replica of his old deck that had been at the school since like that 1-2-parter from
like season
what we
one.
watched a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
At this point,
I
So it's
remember
kind of like
it.
a surprise.
I like the idea that like a grown Yugi having lived through all of his hardships and all of his struggles and like especially that final fight with the Tem
Yeah.
comes to Jaden and says, listen, you're grown up, you should be proud of who you've become, but I am here to remind you about something that you need to get back.
Stand proud. You're strong.
I think
What
that
is
is a very powerful statement on like never losing the things that make you happy as you grow. But I do understand seeing this and being like, okay, but you're shafting his entire friend group for this.
Having said that, I think what you're saying is very profound because at the end of the day, that first interaction is with this person. That first interaction Jaden has in the entire story is, I bumped into a guy, he gave me a card. Okay, thanks, man. And that mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice bookend in that way.
It's a good bookend. If you're going to make this work in a way where it includes everybody, I think the way to do it would have been Chancellor Shepard coming up to Judai after the graduation ceremony and going, there's someone who wants to speak to you, and them dueling in like an isolated part of the school where that duel was then being broadcast to everybody else so that they could see how he's grown and who he's become.
How do you feel about the time travel aspect of it?
It's goofy, but I don't hate it.
No.
It's a bit of. It's just a bit
it's
of
a real
setup
we
to get them
want
a
a TEM at one point in this two-parter. It's
and
probably the clunkiest part.
I guess.
Yes.
It's the one part that I'm like, yeah, you didn't necessarily need to do that.
The thing I find funny about this time travel plot is that it also inadvertently sets up that there was a Battle City 2. Because as Jaden looks at the advertisement for it, it states that Yugi just won Battle City V2.
Really?
No. Does it?
It does. That's what the V2 is on there for.
But he's got the God
I didn't notice the V2, and a TEM is there.
This is not
what do you
fair,
mean?
man.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe
Hold on.
It does say V2.
This could be one that happened like before they went out for the journey to put the Pharaoh to rest.
They had just
It's
another
possible.
Battle City.
Yeah, it's just we just didn't get to see that one.
Now,
I love
if
how
the
they
KC
have
Grand
Joey
Prix
in
was
the
just a
flyer
second
doing the
Battle
face.
City, I would have been more okay with it.
I love that they've got Joey doing the face in the fucking flyer for this. Dude.
It's great. Genuinely, I love that. But
It's him at peak performance.
He's in a suit for some reason. It's like, okay. What's the lore behind Battle City V2?
I want to know about
Kaiba wanted a rematch, so he did it in the most elaborate way possible to prove that he wasn't owned and he didn't just have this petty grudge against Yugi.
It makes now. I know we're glossing over like Judai talking to Yugi, but like it makes the moment where he goes back in time and bumps into Yugi. Yugi comes out of the game shop and he bumps into Judai, and Judai goes, "Oh, you're Yugi," and Yugi says, "You know me?" It makes that confusing because he's just won the second Battle City.
Yeah. For the purposes of this, I'm going to ignore the V2 in the newspaper. It doesn't quite make sense in the timeline. It doesn't make sense for
It's
the
a new
characters.
piece of information we've had to wrestle with.
Yugi being confused about the fact that people are aware of him as a celebrity after winning a second Battle City just does not make sense. Because
No.
after
Just
the
argue
first
it's
one,
Yugi being
He's
humble.
quite modest.
he is modest. However, I think after the first Battle City, him being a household name in the city where the tournament took place should not be a surprise to him.
Hey, he's only the king of games.
I mean, yeah.
I also like that Yugi tells him that the night before he had a dream where Kuriboh spoke to him and said, "Some guy's gonna show up and duel you."
I'm like, man, this is a really detailed message you've given me.
Yeah. It's very. I also like that Yugi's just completely asleep during it, so it's like, did Kuriboh like invade your dream, or how did you
Kuriboh's
retain
like,
this?
No,
Yes.
Kuriboh wakes Yugi up with the fucking Kiva sound.
No, that's Kuriboh waking him up the morning of at the moment Judai is there. It's just like, wake up, you gotta duel Yugi, go.
Grab her brush and put a little makeup.
Oh,
But yeah, it it feels weird to like cover these last episodes and like even to look at them as a duel because it's like it's a good duel, but it feels weird to cover an unfinished intentionally duel.
Yeah, I
It's
was
just about the moment
grappling.
of you seeing a couple of these cards, seeing some of their plays, and going,
Yeah.
"Man, I have a great connection through loving the original. I really like Judai now," and you get to have like a couple of cool interactions through that.
And
Not really about winning.
Yeah.
it's really fun watching like Jaden and Yugi, two wildly different decks going at each other and just having fun. It's so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I throughout this entire duel I had trouble taking coherent notes because so much of this was just holy shit, I haven't seen Mystical Elf in what feels like 10 years. Oh my god, he's got the combos. It's just me reacting to a genuinely really tightly written duel that is fantastic in its execution. And I think it being Yugi versus Judai does a lot more for the viewer, especially if the viewer had an attachment to duel monsters than it might do for the character even. Because I feel like you know, as a culmination of how far he's come, it's a good cap off for Judai, but it's also a culmination of how far you, the viewer, have come if you've been with Yu-Gi-Oh! Since Duel Monsters started airing, because you're seeing these people that you've missed and these things that, you know, you were super attached to, and maybe you weren't a huge fan of Judai at the start of GX. Maybe you thought he was a little too childish, maybe you didn't like the more slice of life type of stories, but by the end of it, you've gotten attached to this character, and seeing him duel against the guy who was the king of games, who was it for the first series, I think does a lot to make you realize, oh shit, I love Judai kind of just as much as I like Yugi, and it's
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It's like to root
You're
for both
very right.
sides.
You're very right about that. But Neos has the nicer ass compared to Dark
Shut
Magician,
up.
so
Dark Magician looking a little frumpy out here, but that Neos ass is tight.
Oh yeah.
God. Well, yeah, that's because he's in the fucking spandex.
Obviously, we need some fan art of Shorah and Carl as Dark Magician and Neos, please. Thank you. With
Yeah,
fat
give me a
asses.
good ass. I'll take it. Give me that fat ass.
They're both fighting
Bio
over
thinks
who
he can
gets to be
hurt me,
the
but I just
Neos.
want that fat ass.
Ugh,
You know
Started
what?
as a bit, and then I just like kept talking, and I was like, this sounds just starting to sound weird.
You know what?
You're
Let's
like,
complete
this
the-
is not
Like,
working out
it
the way
sounds
I
like
had
way
intended.
too specific. And I'm like,
You're like,
You know what,
can you
chat?
get
We
my
need to
two- Can you
complete-
get my two friends, but make their asses huge, bigger?
You know what, chat? Let's complete the trifecta. If you're gonna do those, you need to render Bio as Bubble Man with a bubble butt. There you go.
oh my god.
I was gonna say
Bio really makes
that's a
this
very
shit too
nice
easy, huh?
that's a very nice argument you have. However, I've already drawn myself as the Chad Neos and you as the seething Dark Magician.
Oh, so to go over the duel a little bit, I love having, you know, not necessarily their aces, but their favorite cards turn one. Because Yugi has outright said multiple times in the course of Duel Monsters that Dark Magician is his guy. That's his monster. And seeing that versus Flamewing Man, who Judai from day one has been like, this is my favorite card in my deck. And even with Neos being here, that has not changed. He still actively called Flamewing Man my favorite hero, like 2 or 3 sessions ago. It's very cool. I do love the constant back and forths, and I love the fact that we get plays where each of them are actively anticipating the other having counters and plotting 3 or 4 steps ahead. I think it's so good to see that. And that's a level of dueling that you can really only get from having, like, 2 protagonists.
Yeah.
Because with a lot of the bosses in GX especially, a lot of those duels have to be, here's the really oppressive deck that the villain is running, and it's oppressive because they are the final big bad and you have to overcome that. Here it's just, you know, 2 skilled duelists having a game for fun. And that's something that GX has kind of lacked ever since it got more into the serious plot lines.
And I think it's even more special now in retrospect, because this never happens again, really. Like they never really have this in any other series, as far as I know, a direct one-on-one with the protagonist. So
in
this
general,
is...
they try to like do callbacks and other stuff, but Yu-Gi-Oh and Yu-Gi-Oh GX are where they're much more linked, given that they're not too far away timeline-wise.
So it makes it less like it could have been cheapened by like if they did it repeatedly every single time and suddenly it just became part of the tradition. So it still stands out. It still feels special. It doesn't feel just for the sake of doing it. And it basically, it, as we've mentioned, it's a book ending because at the beginning, Yugi gives Jaden the torch. He passes the torch to the new protagonist, and he passes the torch to the brand new duelist. And then at the end, he comes back and sees how he tended that fire. So it's very good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
This is probably like the best duel in the series.
I would argue it's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's I don't know that I would call it the best, but it's personally just so satisfying to watch. And the fact that the entire time all of my notes are just me freaking out over certain cards showing up and just calling out the combo plays speaks to that. Like, I'm not talking from my notes here because my notes are dog shit from the standpoint of recapping anything. It's just me going, holy shit, Dark Magician, holy shit, Thousand Knives, oh my god, he had a mirror force, you know?
That's fair. Mine were just me going, man's out here still playing Mystical fucking Elf and pounding, yowie. So I get what you mean about having dog shit notes.
Well, also, you were incredibly high while watching this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were so high, you saw an ancient Egyptian pharaoh take over at one point.
That's true. Oh, that was weird. I've never done that before.
You were so high, you saw him summon an Egyptian god with 2 tributes.
Oh,
That's
damn.
true.
I also came to a realization that made me feel stupid at the end of 179, but it also just is really good. From the moment Judai gets Neos, and Neos' ability being contact fusion, it's a literal representation of his bonds with his friends overcoming, even the rules of the game in order to help him in times of need. Contact fusion as a mechanic is literally the power of friendship.
Into contact with.
Yes! It's like the fact that it took me this long to realize is, a little bit goofy, but it's just taking the themes of the show and embedding it so deeply into the show itself. And I love that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always at its best when it's about this sort of thing. And it's been there since the beginning. And I'm glad that it's never forgotten about it.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and we can talk about 180 as well, but I need to throw the last edit up, and then I need to make it a little so you can read it. So, yeah, the check-in was not the handshake, it was this.
So my kids just got home. I don't know. I feel like for the last episode I want to be here. Would it be a problem if I jump off and jump on my headphones? Would that be a problem?
I don't mind that, no.
Okay. I mean, I'll be muted.
Yeah.
But I'll pop in just to talk.
No, that's fine.
Sure. Okay.
The youngest ones.
They're going to be watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 10 years from now, whatever series is airing.
Oh,
yeah.
That'll be Yu-Gi-Oh! Global Force.
I love Global Force. Very underrated.
Yo, Global Force? Genuinely, I think deserves a better rep in the West.
People really said that it was an improvement after Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeba, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Coco Melon
jumped the
might
shark.
have popped off.
Coco Melon, was that?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
Coco Melon.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Coco Melon. That's when they just stopped trying with the names for a decade. They just went Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they did the little star symbol that they do in the manga, and then just Coco Melon.
Shorah, when you think about it, Zexel is the Coco Melon because where else would you get Gaga Cowboy from?
No.
Shit, you're right.
Shibuya, Shibuya Arc V is the pen. The Arc V is the fucking Cocomelon. Look at those character designs. Look at the fucking
The character
pendulum
designs, yes, but
monsters.
from a naming
The
standpoint.
Performa Pals are the Cocomelon
From
creatures.
the naming standpoint of giving up, not even giving up, because onomatopoeia monsters are funny, but from a naming standpoint of this is very, funny for kids. Gagagi go, Gagaga cowboy. That sort of shit is hardcore, just, goofy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me read some of my good notes here that we have for 180.
Yeah.
Once again, we arrive at the end of our time together. Don't be sad that it's come to an end. Be glad we got to experience this moment while we could. Followed by, chat, that fucking Bloomin' Onion was so goddamn good.
I swear to
Like
God,
insane.
Carl.
They just let you get a whole ass one. You can just fucking
know,
have it. No gods or kings, only the desires of man.
There is a god. He's called Slifer the Sky Dragon. He's right there if you watch the episode.
Honestly, way to bookend this whole show with the
Honestly.
blooming onion that you had before we started.
Yeah.
You know what else this episode got? It's got fucking water pond, baby.
It sure do. I've missed
I was
that
so
little
excited.
bastard.
I miss him.
Shibuya, I need you to know, I just made the most powerful fucking comment in the Twitch chat. Powerful enough that I'm pretty sure I just destroyed Bridget with it.
Bragaga magician.
Bro Gaga magician is... That's gonna
Don't
haunt
bring
me if
that
you make that real.
Creature in here.
Your fucking mascot, Carl.
I hate him.
Don't call it a creature.
I don't want him. I hate him.
Okay.
You
So
asked for him specifically.
going into this two-parter, for the most part, through like cultural osmosis and like, having seen people talk about it over the years, I knew it ended in a way where you did not know who won, and that was intentional. I wonder if my thoughts on it would be different if I had gone in being blind on the fact that they never finished the duel, but...
Yugi definitely won. Yugi's better.
Wow! Alright,
Coming in by
Wow, all right.
speaking of
Xbox
coming
Live.
full circle, I'm just gonna drop this here again because, that's a take. So...
Dude, you're not a true Yugi
What do you
fan.
mean?
You weren't here for capsule monsters.
That's true, you weren't here for Capsule Monsters.
Did Yugi suck in that?
I mean, Capsule
You'll have to
Monsters
watch
is
and find out.
a hell of an arc. You should go back to it at some point.
yeah, that was funny. I like that.
This episode
You know what,
opening...
Bio? That's your homework. Between now and
What's that?
5Ds, you have to go watch Capsule Monsters.
I expect a 2-page essay on Capsule Monsters
watched-
and your thoughts
we
about
watched
it.
those episodes?
We did Capsule Monsters during Duel Monsters.
I didn't.
No, you didn't, because this was when you were
The
gone from
joke is I
podcast
had
for a
to
bit.
sub in because you had already left the show at that point.
Right. My daughter was bored.
Yeah.
Big deal, we got capsule
Make it sound like
monsters
I'm like-
over here.
They me sound like a serial podcast.
You can just make another one, Like,
He did!
Shut up.
This episode opening on Judai, talking about the entire duel in past tense, does a lot for setting a specific tone. And for anybody who's seen the show, when I say this, you're gonna understand. The final episode of GX and the final episode of Kamen Rider Kuga, not quite the same, but they are
No, I saw the parallels.
entirely similar.
This is new to Kingdom Hearts. Anytime someone says darkness or light, gives me a lot of Kingdom Hearts vibes.
Yes, he literally fights darkness at the end of it.
I was just saying, like, he was Kamen
Like
Rider.
down to Judai packing up his shit and being ready to leave because other people need help, and just not really saying goodbye to anybody.
He's fighting for everyone's smiles.
He's just the Yusuke Godai of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that shit hits different if you've seen both. The
I'm
duel,
convinced they're the same person. He just changed his name.
I mean, Judai, Godai, you know what? They might have. They might have looked at him and said, yes. But the duel, I'm gonna be real, I don't have a lot to say about it. Just because, again, all of my notes are me popping off about, the actual plays and the contents of it and how cool it is and how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, I called Dark Magician Girl a whore for getting rid of Wadapon, but I mean, other than that, I was very upset. I really wanted to see Wadapon.
No, I get it. Like I can call out specifics, but
The major thing I really have to say about this episode is it really shows that the people who write these series know how to actually build duels that are entertaining. Because in any realistic scenario, Yugi's deck should not be able to interact with Jaden's like in any way that matters.
Yeah.
But you actually have Jaden and Yuki both like Jaden and fucking Yugi both like interacting and having amazing plays together with two so fundamentally different deck ideas. Like Jaden relies so heavily on effect monsters and fusions and all of this, while you have Yugi who has so many normal monsters and relies heavily on all of his spells and traps. It's just really cool to see these two fucking complete different deck ideologies go against each other.
and the fact that they can stand toe to toe despite how differently their decks work is so interesting. Like, they bring back Mystical Ref Panel, the card from the Yu-Gi Joey Brainwash duel.
Let's go! I was
And
so
it's
excited.
crucial to the duel.
It's so cool.
I love that shit.
If he ends up winning that duel that we don't know the result of, it's because of that card.
Literally, that is the crux of Yugi's swing in the pace of the duel, because that play where Judai's like, all right, pick 3 from your deck, and then they battle and you get to add them to your hand. Yugi going full power on it while Judai is specifically setting that shit up. Cool as hell. And then Yugi goes, I'm copying your thing that changes a monster's type, and I am changing the type to Divine Beast for the Slifer that's in my grave.
The fact that
screamed.
he goes into a Thames mode, he's like, I got a great idea.
Not even. The fact that a Tem shows up and is just like, he's got my attention, bud. You mind if I?
Yeah.
And Yuki just goes, all right, man, have fun. It's so good. Oh, man. All right, I almost forgot. There's a moment where Judai's able to bring out Neos and do contact fusion. And there's just a moment where they cut to a reaction shot of Yugi looking at it with nothing but glee.
You're so excited. It was really good.
Because at the end of the day, Yugi's still a child throughout all of Duel Monsters. He's still only 15, 16. So him having that just wonder and excitement at the way the game can evolve and change, and just the game itself it's a big moment, especially considering this is the duel for Judai to reclaim that joy and wonder at the idea of a duel.
I would pay good money just to see little Yugi react to all the different archetypes of GX. Like, I want to see how he feels about the roids. I want to see how he feels about Cyber Dragon.
I feel like Yugi would love the roids. I feel like Yugi would look at the Cyber Dragons and think they're a little bit scary, but that they have cool combo potential. I
Then
think
he looks at the Ojamas and he's like, these little motherfuckers shouldn't have been born.
he just looks at them and he's just like, well, that sure is an archetype. Oh God, please don't look at me. Please don't look at me, Ojama Yellow. I pop off whenever I see Magical Cylinder or Magic Cylinder. It's just that easy. It's not that hard to get me excited for a duel. You use Mirror Force, you use Magic Cylinder, and I go crazy. You use Draining Shield, I absolutely go nuts.
You play Cup of Ace because it's just Pot of Greed. It's just that easy.
Said Joey Wheeler.
And music-wise, for me, the thing that gets me is the moment a Tem takes control and asks Yugi if he can participate in this duel because it's gotten him excited. They start playing Passionate Duelist. They play really his fucking theme.
It's very exciting.
Really good moment.
I lost it. It was so fantastic. And I do wish they had played God's Anger. And in a world where this duel was fully played out, they would have the moment Slifer dropped. But it's fantastic. I can't complain too much about this final duel, even if I have a couple of, like, maybe minor nitpicks, but the moment Atem says, Judai, a duelist of your caliber, is worthy to fight a god, I just clap. It's good. It's hard for me to put this into words just because it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's honestly hard to say anything except this is cool.
Yeah, it's
It's not much you can do. Like, they did it. They nailed it. It's cool. It's cool as shit. I wish they dubbed this. Even if they didn't even do season 4, they're like, we're just gonna cut these out for like a 4-kid special.
Oh, if only.
I wish they would have.
Because they get to leverage all the old DM soundtrack that they had made.
Yeah, and like the 4Kids DM soundtrack is really good.
GX is, in my estimation, the last good 4Kids Yu-Gi-Oh soundtrack.
Yeah, the guitars they use for GX on occasion they're so cool.
Yeah, like past this point, they tend to go for more of like a cinematic, dramatic like style that's a bit more generic and doesn't really, and you could put on pretty much any show. They have a really good rock style for GX, and the DM stuff's pretty timeless.
So it sort of freeze frames on Atem with Slifer on the field versus Judai with Neos. And then it hard cuts to Judai back in the present. We don't know what happens, but he is in the desert.
But what do you think happened?
It is definitely implied that Jaden lost.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, fair. But you know what? I don't mind that because he had a moment with Johan earlier in this batch of episodes where he was like, yeah, I might lose against him, and that might make me a little upset, and I might curse him in my mind, but that's part of what dueling is about. You lose, you get excited, you pick yourself back up, and you deck build, and you try again.
And most importantly, he has won way too many duels in this show. He deserves to lose another one.
That's
I was
fair.
gonna say, like, I think it's more thematic that he loses because, I mean, you guys' whole thing is like, I love dueling, and like the whole time I've been thinking, like for these last few episodes, like if he's just better than everyone else, then like he's gonna lose his spark at some point.
Yes, exactly. In order for something to be fun, I think there needs to be some level of challenge. Because if everything is a breeze, then it's hard to really get joy out of it after a certain point.
All right, we want to talk about our least favorite card in play.
I mean, not before I bring up the note that everyone left him. Because they knew his ass was going to...
I had to let them a little know.
They knew his ass was going to be abandoned.
They know,
Yeah, it's...
They did some little doodles and some messages on a
It's very
paper.
sweet.
It's so good. And then he just keeps moving forward, and, you know...
I really needed them to do that because I think about all the times like you would have your friends in school like sign your yearbook and everything.
Yeah, especially after
I'm glad
graduating.
they had like something like that in here for the school related.
I really enjoyed Judai's transformation into a mystic sage that wanders the lands.
Somehow he's going to end up in
dueling
Venice.
nomad.
Don't worry, in a couple of years we'll flash back. We'll find ourselves meeting Jaden again in Venice. Surely nothing bad will happen.
Yeah, surely things will be fine. Nothing can go wrong. All right.
That doesn't sound like foreshadowing.
You're right, it doesn't. Okay. So, with that, we can start talking about our least favorite card in play. I don't know. I'll just go first for this. Screw it. Darkness Neosphere made me uncomfortable. But between the tit eyes and the head 180,
Fair.
I didn't like it.
And when it blinks, it makes a squish noise.
Okay, but eyes are wet. That's inevitable when they're that big. That upset me less. And I kind of just hated the constant looping of Night Shroud's back row. Because when it falls apart, it's really funny. But when it's there, it's not the fun kind of obstacle that your protagonist has to overcome. Because like it didn't elicit any tension from me in the story at that point. And I think that's the worst thing a boss's deck can do, is just not keep you engaged.
Yeah, that play was also my least favorite, the Zero and Infinity stuff.
I'm inclined to agree with that, honestly. If I had to choose least favorite monsters, I'd say the clear creatures. I just don't like them. They're boring to me.
I didn't like the Darkness Eyeball. It gave me the ick. Nasty little guy.
Yeah,
Just trying to ruin your blooming onion.
A little bit. It kind of looked like it.
Ugh. Did your bloomin' onion blink at you?
I hope not.
Should I get a blooming onion, Carl?
Yeah. You know,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
always gonna say yes.
I know. I was just looking for a reason to do it.
There you go.
Oh God. Bio, your
Yeah, I'll
least
get one
favorite
too.
least favorite card play?
Least favorite card. What is like the Celestial Neos? What is the golden one at the end?
Divine
Oh, you
Neos?
mean like Divine Neos, yeah.
Divine Neos. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Wow.
Just I
Bold
just thought it looked
choice.
kind of lame. Like as like the final one, I feel like the Dark Neos, or whatever that one was called, and
Wiseman, yeah.
the other one looked like just so much cooler. And then they come out with Divine. I was like, I mean, it's cool.
It's cool.
Man, Bio not saying Bubble Man. Holy shit.
Yeah, Bubble Man actively
Did
got
he-
played in this duel. I'm stunned you didn't just call him out.
Did he really?
Yes.
See,
I was about
that's
to say,
why.
do you think he remembers that?
I didn't see it.
You guys started
Right.
saying that. I'm like, guys, you're just running into the wall.
Right till the very end. Oh God.
That's awesome. Least favorite play. Maybe like the kind. I don't know. I can't really think of any like bad plays that I hated.
You can always pick something you didn't like that they did in general. We always go to those.
Yeah, if you liked all of the
Fair.
duels, then you can just be like, I hated when he was out of character that one time.
I mean, there wasn't even anything that bad either. Like it was just a good set of episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe
You have no
like,
hate in your heart right now.
right? Nothing. It's just crazy. Maybe Bridget left the chat. So I guess I'll just echo like the card, like the size of the goose outside. I'm so sorry.
It's all
I
good.
needed to get water for my kids, so I went outside to get their water.
It's okay. We're running long. We're adapting.
Yeah, we're at 3.5 hours. It's fine.
What is it? The fact that like the death god was like, I can just see my cards and I can just do all this stuff. Like it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever, Satan.
Martin, least favorite card in play?
I don't know what cards are in play. I've been confused.
So when we do a batch of episodes, we'll talk about our least favorite individual card, and then we'll talk about our least favorite just play.
Oh. Is
like,
this stuff
of
I
the
forgot
set.
that I was supposed to do?
I wanted to like ask and make sure that you were good with the format. It's fine if you don't have anything
That's
written
my
down. I feel
bad.
like it'll be much easier to remember favorites for this. So maybe we can just pivot to that. That's fine.
Don't worry, I'm bad at this segment too. I'm real bad at
Speaking of, hey
Barely know the
KZ,
cards.
Oh no!
you've opened yourself up to my attack.
All right, I don't like that slime thing that they used. I didn't like
Darkness slime.
Okay.
that. Yeah, I'm like, this is just like a more mid version of Egyptian god slime. Not a fan of it. Least favorite play is Judai abandoning his friends at the end. I'm like, dude, let's just hang out a little bit, man. I'm just saying. Let's give people some moments. Hang out with all of your friends that are still here, except for Bastion, who is in another dimension getting pussy.
All right.
God, I wish that was me.
Jesus Christ. Favorite card in play. So, does anybody want to explicitly go first on this?
I will.
Okay. Have at it, Carl.
My
Okay,
favorite
little
card
Timmy.
was Neos Wise Man.
Okay.
And my favorite play was the whole last duel because it was real epic and cool.
The whole ass duel, all three of them.
So, I'm gonna say similar. Yubel is my favorite card because I love this bitch. My favorite play is the fucking Mystic Ref panel, saving that effect for later and then using it to change Slifer like from Divine Beast to Spellcaster to summon it, like to cheat it out of the grave.
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool.
Peak. Just peak. Absolute peak. My favorite card, you may expect me to say something like Neos Wise Man or Rainbow Neos or something like that. You don't understand. You don't understand how much I popped off at Yugi using Magic Cylinder to destroy this man. You don't understand. Mirror Force was really good, but Mirror Force, Judai anticipated a play like that and countered it. He did not expect the cylinder, baby.
No one expects the cylinder, okay?
Like, even in
it carried
Master
me
Duel.
through Game Boy Advance games when I was like 10.
Correct.
This
but
shit rules.
anytime somebody in online play in Master Duel gets stumped by a Mirror Force or a Magic Cylinder or any of those, like, DM era classic traps, I pop off. So, it's Magic Cylinder for me for the card. And my favorite play, you can't ask me to pick one. It's the entire final duel, bro. Everything in that duel. The consistent back and forth, the way they kept summoning their aces and getting the cards they needed out of the grave and setting up for plays further down the line that the other didn't necessarily anticipate until it was too late. It's phenomenal. Like, the fact that all of my notes are just reacting to how good it was should be an indicator that this is one of the best duels I have watched in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sorry, I just love peak fiction.
Go off, as they say.
Thank you. Bio? Favorite card and favorite play?
So they're kind of tied together.
Okay.
But hearing that like Bubble Man was played, probably my favorite card would be Bubble Man because my favorite play is that he got played for the last time because this is our last episode. So I never have to see him again. That's it.
That's awesome, man.
Can't wait for Bonds Beyond Time.
Oh, it's gonna be so funny.
I don't even know if he's in it or not. I'm just like, you have to live with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in like 4 years, so if Bubble Man is in it, that'll be a pleasant surprise for me. KZ?
Let's see. Favorite card, probably Neos Wiseman. I think it's one of the cooler looking Neos fusions that we have. My favorite play is how they take down Fujiwara by combining every person that's trying to get him good again. So they just make Rainbow Neos and then they use Honest to really pull out the win. I think that's the best play of the set for me.
Understandable. It's a very good play. And Martin, if you can come up with your favorite card and your favorite play, have at it. Otherwise, it's all good.
Neos, that ass.
Valid.
It's crazy. We make like professional like edits and photoshops on stuff. One day they showed Neos's ass in an episode. I sent the screenshot and it won our poll over things that took any effort at all.
Yes, it's insane how much the people love a good ass in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh yeah.
It's because it's a really nice ass.
It is, to be fair. Like, it is 100% a fantastic set of cheeks. Alright, well, and with that, we are officially finished with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Whoa! Nice one.
So, that is 16 months, if my math is right. 16 or 17 months of going through the series, and we did it.
Why would you put it that way?
Because the passage of time can be cruel, but it's not about how much time has passed. It's about the memories you've made along the way.
I mean, I guess.
I'm trying to make the themes cohesive, and like I don't know how better to do it.
You know how to make them cohesive?
Yeah.
Eat a bloomin' onion.
Shit, you're right.
True.
I'll consider ordering one later. All right. So, thank you again, Martin, for being on. It was a pleasure to have you back.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a great episode.
Lovely.
Hell yeah, I'm happy to be part of it, honestly. Very happy to see you guys reach the end of your journey, much like Yugi witnessed Judai reaching the end of his.
That's a great way of putting it.
I know we already asked in the in the ad break, but for people who skipped over that, because I know some people do, where can the good people find you and any of the things that you do?
You can find me if you search on YouTube for LittleKuriboh. I don't think it's youtube.com/LittleKuriboh, but you're gonna have to search for it. Or you can find me on twitch.tv/LittleKuriboh versus LittleKuriboh VS. And you can also find me on Twitter at YugiOhTAS, where I talk mostly about Kamen Rider.
Yeah!
Hey, live your passion.
Fantastic. Alright, I figure I'll just do the outro read without deafening for this one since it is the final one, but do not be sad, because for the people who want more GX content, in between us, like, formally covering GX and formally covering 5Ds, Bridget and I have discussed doing a little thing on the side, like a little sort of bonus mini-sode. So, I don't know necessarily what we're going to be covering in that yet, but please be excited. I'm going to sit down with GX's strongest supporter, Judai's strongest soldier, and she and I are going to get together and just talk about the show, like, as a whole. We might get into some other stuff.
I was really stressed out you were going to be like, and I'm going to do a podcast with Bridget on the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga. And I was like, oh boy.
Doing a podcast on a manga sounds insanely difficult. I don't want to broach that. I may read it on my own time, but that's entirely off content.
Chapter number 37.
Chapter 38. They don't.
You would not go chapter by
39. No, it would probably be a couple volumes. Alright. Before this outro music ends, thank you everybody who's here live, who's listening to the pre-recorded version of this, for listening to the Millennium microphone. As I always say, and as I will continue to say, this show would not still exist without you guys and your continued support. It would not be feasible for us to continue doing this, and we genuinely hope that you've enjoyed our journey throughout Duel Monsters, Season 0, GX, and we hope that you'll stick with us for 5Ds and whatever may come after that. If you like the podcast, please be sure to share it with your friends if you think they would like it as well. Spreading the word, whether it's by retweeting our goofy edits or just, telling someone, hey, you ever heard of this? It does a lot for us. It does a lot to help out the show. And if you want to follow any of our hosts, any of our guests, as always, all of the relevant links will be in the description down below. I would say until next time, get your game on, but there's not really going to be a next time for GX, and the music ended, so,
Yeah. Until next time, rev it up.
Until next time, gotcha.
Get those motors running.